Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to your Saturday night sci-fi paint and chill. How's everybody doing out there in TV land? I suspect there's still some folks over hanging out with Tenkar, but I expect folks to be coming in shortly. I had a really good, really fun game with OGGM and RPG Grandma and Mike and Jen from Married with Gaming. Um, it was our last game of Shadow Dark for a while. We're going to be playing some Vigilantes for Shadow Dark. As you know, OGGM wrote a superhero supplement for Shadow Dark and wants to show it off. So we volunteered to play and um, test it out and things like that for the old man. And it looks like I don't know who it is, but I'm going to bet it's no, it's
Hey,
George of the interwebs. Hey, man, long time no see. How you doing?
good, good.
Glad to hear
Yeah.
it, man. Missed you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been in chat and stuff a lot, but it's not as
Oh,
on
I
screen
know,
as
I
much.
know. But you were,
Yeah.
hey, my wife drinks that stuff, that pink stuff, and he's frozen. Oh, it's always something. I don't know if you guys noticed. I switched the music, brought in a better file, and I don't know if it's skipped again, but I know it's Restream's fault, not my files, because I checked them on various devices and various platforms, and they do not skip elsewhere. It's Restream glitching. So, what's up, George?
Hey, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. We cannot see
Okay.
you. We can hear you.
All right. I turned off my camera. See if that solves it for now, and then come back on later with the video.
No worries, no
Um,
worries.
so yeah, I just got on, so I didn't catch the beginning, so I missed what you guys were talking about. But yeah, is this a paint and chill stream?
Yep, just chilling.
Yeah.
I've been painting a lot, and I've knocked out a crap ton of scatter terrain and some minis here and there. I'm working on the Reaper miniatures steampunk Wizard of Oz.
Hmm.
I'll show you a couple of them. That's the Scarecrow with a scythe that's also a rifle. Can't really see it, but it is.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
The I
the
think what
Cowardly Lion is actually got a nice handy dandy freaking laser pistol of some sort.
I remember
And
when I when I
where
first
she is?
when I first got into D&D, one of the first maps I made was inspired by Wizard of Oz.
The Wicked Witch. And yeah, I got these from Tenkar. He sent me his like Kickstarter from Reaper that he wasn't going to do anything with, and I gave a lot of those away to Jackie's friends. Um, what's up, James? You want the link? Just let me know. Waiting for the gesso to dry on 12 Saxon Levy. The ones you showed me the picture of. Um, I'm running out of stuff to paint that I'm allowed to paint. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm saving for September, but I got a big something special coming in the mail. Hopefully tomorrow. If FedEx says tomorrow, I think they mean Monday. Thanks. It, hold on a second. It's hard to. She's so dark, and you can't see her face very well. But I gave her a really bright green. That's her leg sticking out. She's kind of dressed a little more provocative than in the movie, of course. But I'm happy with it. Up close, you can see the face. All I did was hit it with some of this data system glow from Army Painter. When it was dry, I gave her a little army tone green wash on her face, and it just seeps into the eye sockets and around the nose and the mouth, and it looks like I know how to paint. Liquid talent and all that. And but I've got something very, very something a Kickstarter that I've been waiting for since 2024, and Uh, it's the Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter, and as some of you may know, Dungeon Dwellers was a line of heritage miniatures that Reaper bought and then reimagined them over the years, giving no credit to Heritage whatsoever. It really, really bums me out because the Heritage miniatures were just they were my they were my first, and maybe not my first, but my first favorite. And I've got them all, like almost everything the company ever made. I have, with three line exceptions, because I just wasn't into that particular. Like they had these miniatures called community dancers, which were turn of the century railroad workers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need ever gonna use them, and one of the early 1200 line, but it was like one of the very first lines of miniatures for use with Dungeons and Dragons, and all the miniatures in the Dungeon Dwellers line were sculpted almost identical to the monsters in the original monster manual. Yeah, the henchmen. Uh,
Oh,
I've got some of those. Actually, no, I'm thinking of something else. I have I have them in heritage form, but I don't have the new plastics. And I was looking at them, and they've got these sets of like six plastic Reaper bones in the dark gray plastic, and they're $30. And I'm like, that's kind of steep because I know I'm paying for the box that I am for the miniatures inside it.
yeah,
$5, $6, whatever, for a single plastic Reaper bones, and most of them are available elsewhere. So I'll just look around or wait till people just said, yeah, they're from Texas, and so was Heritage.
yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about different mini companies, so
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
can't
It's probably
elaborate too much on it. Sorry. Um,
no worries.
I
You,
thought,
you'll see them. You'll see them soon enough, and then you'll be like, oh, I want those.
yeah,
So
the
you guys been painting during your leave of
a,
absence?
a little bit, not too much. I did a couple of these like centipede kind of things. My daughter did it, and she's like, "I'm gonna
Nice.
paint it like metallic." I'm like, "Oh boy, well, I guess some bugs are metallic, and they came out awesome." Uh, that's about it,
I'm
really.
not. I'm not even joking. I literally did the same thing. Not Tuesday, but the previous Tuesday. Not
Uh-huh.
last Tuesday, but Tuesday before. Jackie was running his game, and I needed to get these centipede. He needed some bugs and some monsters for these caves. I found some. Just going through some stuff, and I did them, and I'll go find them later. But I did them also with a metallic green, and they
Hmm.
turned out kind of good. I mean, for just all I
Yeah,
did was just dry brush them. I mean, it was nothing special.
yeah,
But
and
some minis,
it makes sense because like there's some bugs that are like metallic. Like, literally, there are some real bugs that look like gold almost, or they have like that metallic iridescent green shell and things like that.
the big green beetles we get here all the time. Uh, I believe it or not, there used to be people that would tie a thread to those beetles and then fly them like a kite.
Oh gosh,
Um, yeah,
that sounds like something
uh,
out of China.
yeah, very much so. And there are a lot of different bugs that have sort of a weird sheen to their chitin, and why the hell not, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's like, well, they used to use beetles as jewelry too, like almost like a, it would have that on their chest or something like a. And then later on, they just said, "We'll just make them out of enamel or something,
Mhm.
or bakelite." I just figured out that I could show the chat when I can see the chat. There's a little button here. For months, I didn't have the chat there, and I thought it was just something that that you had taken off. And now I could see the chat on the on the stream. I didn't realize that it was an option that I controlled.
mm, mm. Yeah, it took me a while to futz with the music to try it out. Did you guys hear Skip in the music tonight? The intro music. Don't remember. I'll test it again tomorrow or
Yeah.
Monday.
I've been
But
trying.
it,
I've been trying to time how long that intro is. It's like 30 seconds or so.
yeah, I can send you the
Okay.
file.
Yeah, well, I'll figure out. I don't know how to. Eventually, once I get something that's 30 seconds long, that sort of works. Unfortunately, it seems to only really let me do in terms of video. I upgraded my Google, so I have a little upgraded Gemini, so
Hmm.
I can do some videos. But reality, it seems to only limit me to 10 seconds, and like maybe I have about 5 iterations, and usually 3 of them are a waste of time. So every day I'm just kind of going in and trying to get it to make something. So I just started with like a so I made a video. I used some other service and it made like a storyboard for me. I tried to work that out, but it
Hmm.
only would make it 10 seconds long. And then I would then I made so now I've been working out. I'm gonna kind of it kind of works with the theme of the video, but like there's
Hmm.
going to be like a couple of cuts in it, so it'll be like 10 second long clips, and they'll have kind of a easy edit between the two between each of them because
The transitions.
yeah, there'll be like a fade to white transition, and then fade back out of white.
The ones you made are really, 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 really fun.
Yeah, I
Um,
like the last one. There's a couple of weird things in. I think the mug
yeah,
one,
yeah,
but
the last one looks, more accurate. I'm just going to say that.
yeah,
The other ones,
it got your your hair color better.
no, like in this area too. The beard's a little bigger
Yeah,
than I tend to keep it, but the face looks better. The other ones look like they look like somebody famous that's not me.
the Witcher, the Henry Cavill.
Oh,
Like
okay, maybe,
that's
maybe.
what it kind of looks like.
I was thinking someone Mexican, but okay. He looks very like hipster Latino, which
Yeah. Well, it could be
I'm
that. Yeah, it also could be like the way this set up is sort of like our fantasy character. It's sort of like an idealized version. And yeah, I didn't like use any kind of like take a picture of you and pull it in or something like that. I just kind of like described you, and then like I just get something close. Was that
which
James?
yeah, that's James
Hey,
Allen.
James.
Hey guys, sorry, I was just lying down in
He's
complete darkness. Like, I normally sleep upside
that's
down. I normally sleep upside down in a coffin.
And just sort of tilt up like from your feet, from your ankles up, just tilt right up.
Well, I had a friend who had a really good DVD collection and kept it in an upright coffin in his lounge room, which was kind of funky.
Yeah, I love a good vampire movie.
Yeah, I
excuse
don't
me.
mind. I don't mind.
Thought that was coming.
I kind of missed that era when zombies were like culturally proliferated,
Hmm.
and you could get lots of good zombie board games.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me.
The
Oh my gosh.
I like this is like I one of my favorite comedies is that New Zealand film, What We Do in the Shadows. Have you guys ever seen
Oh,
that?
never seen it. No, I've heard a lot
Uh,
about it,
they've
but I've
turned
not seen it.
I've heard
yeah,
about it.
they turned it into a TV series as well, which is pretty funny too. But I remember what we're like about the TV version is is a more vulgar and sexual than the movie for some reason. You think it'd be the other way around, but the great thing I love about the movie is it has like these references to other vampire movies, and I'm just laughing like, oh, that's Lost Boys. I'm just like they're fighting and they're floating on the ceiling. It's like that's like Lost Boys, Or this guy,
Mhm.
he's like from like Lestat, he's like from what do you call it, Interview with the Vampire, and
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
this guy's straight up out of like what do you call that, Vampire the Masquerade. They literally have a vampire masquerade in in the movie.
Okay. I've never seen it. I'll put it on the list because I'm stacking up vampire minis and vampire hunters and werewolves and all that stuff
Yeah,
for September, October, November because I'm just gonna just seriously just nice. Just enjoy the shit out of that whole season. I've got a lot of stuff that I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh, I want to paint it, but nope.
I normally push back a little bit on Halloween because, like, I feel like, oh, it's an American holiday, and
Mm.
when I see kids running around trick or treating, I'm like, it kind of feels like an Americanization of our culture. But this year, I'm getting into it. I'm gonna do something similar because my brother really wants to play Mordheim, so I'm getting the figures together for that, and that means zombies, vampires, ghouls, that kind of stuff.
Frankenstein, all of the whole thing. I mean, even if let's imagine a world where Halloween didn't exist, you'd still have the winter or fall weather. And fall weather to me always just screams. You got rain, you got cloudy, gloomy skies, a chill in the air. You're dressing a little bit warmer, and whenever you dress up a little bit warmer, you also look a little classier. Am I right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So you got your scarf, you got your collar turned up, and your gloves and your walking
My
stick, and you're
my
just
painted
like,
mole. I want to
it's
sell. I want to sell painted moles, but maybe on like a sheet, like
it's
stick it.
funny you say that. If you get one of these, hold on, oh man, those here. I'll see if I can do it without spilling. You know what these are?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You get
You
one of
just
these and you
imagine.
take a drop of glossy black, bloop, 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 and I kid you not, when it dries in the silicone, you can pop it out, and it's like a contact lens, depending on
Yeah.
how big of a drop you put in there and let dry, and it dries perfectly smooth and concave, and then they can just get a little spirit gum and put the little bowl on there, and
Well, I'm in league with Big Mole, so I don't want you spreading DIY mole tips. That's gonna hurt my business.
sorry, man, I did not know. I don't keep track of your
If
portfolio
people
as well
figure
as I
out that
used
they
to.
can make, if people figure out that they can make their own 17th century face like cosmetic moles, it's over for me. Are you okay? Are you? That's nice.
Avery,
That's a very Larry David answer. That sounds like Larry David. You are the female Larry David. You're like, is there something wrong with me cleaning? Why would that be a problem?
Uh,
I
so
know who he is, but he's not ringing a bell.
he's one of the
What?
writers from. Oh, you would remember him from Fridays. He used to be one of the writers from Fridays, that show that you cut school to go watch.
Okay.
So he was one of the writers for that. He also wrote for Seinfeld. So I guess the George Costanza character is very much based on him.
Okay, I
And
think I know what you're talking
and
about.
then he did an HBO show called what was it? I think it was just called Larry David. Or he's just constantly kind of have these. It's kind of funny. Like it's like like he'll go to the doctor's office and you made a 4 o'clock appointment, and then you get there and you're kind of they take you in the order that you came there. And it's like, yeah, but I had a 4 o'clock appointment. It's like, what was his appointment? It was 4:15, but he came here before you. And then they end up like swapping it. He got there early the next time, and yeah, and then they change their system based on what he said. And then it's like it's always what like some it's always some sort of issue in his life.
Yeah,
But it's
Right,
like,
right.
he's very
yeah,
he's very
First
neurotic,
world
and
problems.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but he's
yeah.
so absurd about it that it's kind of funny.
Like,
Yeah,
he's like standing next to an old lady, and she has these large, saggy boobs, and he just stands next to her, and it happens. Your elbow bumps into her boobs, and then like he's like thinking. I guess he's thinking like, should I move over? Should I not? Is she going to be offended if I like just move over? So he just kind of stayed there a little longer than he should have, and then walked away, and then it became an issue, of course. The whole half hour, 1 hour episode. I don't remember how long the show was, but that became an issue.
hey
It
Reed, would
was
you like a cup of tea? You just had a cup of tea. Well, I guess that makes me superfluous, doesn't it?
Yeah, one of the things I like is when sometimes it was like those like there's these like videos where they take like Warhammer characters, like
Mhm.
40K characters, and then they just take like they put like let's say like one of the Primarchs around them. But you have the face of the character from a TV show or something, and they'll say the thing from a TV show, and they took
Yeah,
a
yeah.
clip. They took a clip of Larry David saying something about like he's like talking to I forget the one pothead guy I forget his name, but he does like the pineapple movie, whatever it was called, those pop movies.
Pineapple
Uh,
Express.
Pineapple Express, yeah, that guy. I forget his
Going
name,
outside
but
there
like
was
he's like, yeah, so
talking
Jack
he's, I
Black.
guess, yeah,
when the
Jack
kettle
Black.
broke.
no, it was something else. Gosh, what is his name? His voice is in all these cartoons too. I've noticed, but
Jack Black.
no, it's somebody. It's another guy. Pineapple Express is another guy. He's like young. He's younger than Jack Black and
Oh,
less talented.
Patton
Um,
Oswalt.
no. Gosh, it kind of looks like him a little. But well, so they take like a Larry David clip where he's like talking to him. It's like, and he's like going, I'm just trying to be more relatable. It's like, so you're dumbing yourself down to be more to make friends. And they're like, and it's showing like two of the Primarchs, and like one's Lore guy, which is the other guy, and Larry David is Lionel L. Johnson. It's like,
Okay.
so you're pretending to be stupid to make friends. It's like I don't want to do that.
There's quite good ones of Alex Jones
What's up, Squirrel?
Oh yeah, those are great.
Explaining to Joe Rogan about demonic possession and aliens and stuff like
Oh,
that.
I love that one. Yeah. They even have like Jordan Peterson explaining the different chaos gods, and it's just like clips from his like his podcast or something or video,
Yeah,
and it's just like he's kind of sits there.
Or it could be an AI thing. I've actually heard a bunch of those where
Yeah,
they're
well,
taking,
it is very
like
easy to
like the Elon Musk and Trump and everybody else playing D&D. I think it was, but Biden.
yeah.
But I think they're just
Oh,
audio clips, maybe. I don't
the ones
remember.
my favorite like are like where they like take a clip from the show and then like kind of make it full, make them the Primarchs. Like they do a lot of them with our my wife hates this show, but I find it really funny because they're like awful people. Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Never.
Uh, oh, it's if you might not like it's I think I think it's a hard one because they're really like it's the same reason she didn't like Seinfeld because they're like the people are awful
Yeah.
and so the she didn't like these like three sort of late 20s early 30s people
Or
running a bar and they're like
How I
get
Met
to
Your Mother.
yeah
How I Met Your Mother was another show like that. Everybody was just awful. Even the the main character, he was just freaking awful. It was like
he was I wouldn't say he was an idiot. I really felt like yeah like but
no. He was actually uh, a terrible human being, and the way he treated women was almost as bad as Barney,
yeah
but just on the opposite spectrum of bad.
yeah
Well,
he was
those
like
shows kind of had weird messaging because it was like the central thing of the show is like they're looking for a partner, and I think it's kind of a weird idea to communicate to you when you're growing up because what you really learn is like the people who are important in your life you kind of meet along the way, but while you're doing important things and like developing yourself and all this other stuff, and it's literally all he could do was talk and think about getting a girlfriend like all the time.
yeah
It was a bit weird.
yeah they had a little bit of the career stuff. The one guy was an architect, the other guy was a lawyer, and he wanted to like do
I don't
like
know what Barney was, but uh,
Marty's
he was the
stockbroker or
best.
something.
He was the best.
Yeah, yeah, he was entertaining. Yeah, so the other one, I wonder if they got like a Warhammer, like How I Met Your Mother. Have like Barney as I don't know. He would probably be what's his name? Can I was thinking oh, gosh, the Primarch, the Thousand Sons. Not Thousand Sons, is it Thousand Sons? Emperor's Sons.
Horace?
No, Emperor's Sons. He'd be gosh, what's his name? The purple and gold Emperor's Sons.
Emperor's
They're like
Children.
Emperor's Children. That's it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I'm not very au fait with like I would have thought of myself as like, oh yeah, I know heaps about Warhammer, but like if I go back and listen to lore, I'm like, wow, it's changed quite a bit since I was
yeah.
a kid. Like
I think
a lot, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
I binged up on like a lot of lore videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like like sometimes I'll just have like a whole thing. I've been on not just lore, but like a traveler kick. I've been finding some traveler lore and things like that. Traveler, like you know, I don't, you know, at first I would, you know, I would say like if I ever played, you know, if I make a traveler game, I'm gonna just set it in my own homebrew. But you know, I wouldn't mind doing a traveler Third Imperium game or something. Seems kind of
Well,
fun.
War Games Atlantic are alleged to be working on some Traveller miniatures.
Oh, that'd be cool. I did
Yeah, which
I
is
did see
pretty funky.
the scout ship. Some because I've been this I see like these promotions for this scout ship that's like a 3D printed one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
there's a
kind
lot
of
of
old. I
prints out there.
actually, I a buddy of mine and I split the cost of the STL files,
Mhm.
and I don't know whatever happened. I sent him $50, and he had a 3D printer, and he was gonna like, print me up one, and haven't
Well,
heard from him
sorry,
in
man.
years. I need to actually talk to him because there's some other stuff that I need printed, and I, you know,
Yeah,
not printed, but he
A
casts miniatures,
3D
and I want.
a 3D printing guy is the t-shirt screen printing guys of this century. You know, like you go see
Yeah,
your screen
yeah,
printing
absolutely.
friend, and he's like a little bit
Yeah, but
unreliable, but like sometimes he comes through, so you can't. And he's a good guy, so you don't mind. But like, you know,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go see my
hey,
screen
Squirrel,
printing friend.
you want to pop
Thanks,
in,
Bill.
Squirrel? You know where the link is. Did I miss any messages? No, no.
I remember in shop class, we were in this shop class that was the print shop, the printing, and they did T-shirts and stuff. And one of the kids had some kind of
Really?
filter for like some kind of drug paraphernalia, like a
Yeah,
pot
yeah,
pipe of some kind. And
yeah.
it's like and the teacher's like hide that because it's like, I'm like I'm a T-shirt printer. I know what that stuff is. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
what do you think? I don't know that. And yeah, he was like the perfect age for like being a hippie in the '60s. So it's like yeah, definitely
Yeah, it reminds me of
imbibed a few.
going to
And
dinner with my old boss, and my colleague would be banging on about like smoking weed and stuff, and my boss would be like, "Look, officially, I don't know. Unofficially, I don't want to know." Like,
Hmm.
you just keep showing up to work. That's all that matters.
Hmm.
But yeah.
So, what are you working on, George?
I was trying to figure out how to put a lower resolution on my screen so I can, just in case that issue comes up again. But I think it was already at the lowest. And probably I might just work on some CAD stuff in between doing things here. Got another email? Is that? No.
What
I said,
what games are you guys? What games are you guys excited by at the moment?
Game wise, I mean, yeah, I've been on a Traveler kick. I've been watching Traveler actual plays.
Okay.
I've watched they're not at first I was like, oh no, that's gonna be like one of those like, critical role types, glass cannon,
mm,
and like one of the characters like a lesbian and this and that. Like but then like it ended up actually being pretty good. Like it didn't
Right.
like just become that thing. So I don't mind a character being a lesbian. It's just like, okay, I just didn't want to be the
So
story,
is it actual character background and not shoehorning?
Yeah,
You
it was
know.
just like,
well,
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, like when you make your character, it's like, oh, they had a romance. Like, well, she had a romance with her professor. She was this, and it's like, oh, okay, so then,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it wasn't like, yeah, and then like the it was pretty cool. It was like they did a couple of things in they did quite a few episodes. They were pretty entertaining. Some of the people,
oh,
even
what's the
though
name of the channel?
glass cannons,
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a pretty big one, and
Isn't
they're
Seth Skorkowski in that one, or was he?
yeah, he was in that one. Yeah, Seth
Okay.
was in their Traveler one. So they kind of went
Yeah,
out and got
I
the
hate
sort of
to
the
say this, but I think I remember him being like kind of crappy in that.
he was let me see his as a role play because he doesn't play as much. So I guess
Yes.
he's like the forever GM. He trying to think of his characters. Yeah, his character was all right. It wasn't too bad. It was good because he had the expertise to kind of keep them in line on some things like if I did something wrong, and he wasn't like like a rules lawyer, but it just kind of
Mhm.
he would give some good ideas in terms of game mechanic wise. But yeah, he wasn't his character wasn't as memorable as others as in terms of role playing. The last person you thought was going to be the most was like the best role player. Well, not really that last person you would think was this. I think she's like a beautician of some kind. This beautiful black woman, and she was just off the wall with her character. Like she kept saying weird things like and she got hit by a bus and this and that, but she was having fun and it was great. She was this yeah she was awesome. I forget her name was like Alicia something. I forget the name, and she was just the most entertaining, especially during character creation. She's like, okay, she's gonna start, she's gonna move to a colony and start a cult, and
What's
but
up,
then she
Steven?
broke up with her boyfriend, and then she got hit by a bus because like she rolled in like she got wounded as a citizen or something, like it rolled in
Uh-huh.
on the injury table. She
Mishap.
says, yeah, mishaps, that's it, and she got she got hurt, and so like, she got hit by a bus. It was good. who,
I
who
don't
plays
I
traveler and
don't
says
actually
they got
mind
hit by
that
a bus?
I don't mind that kind of more critical roles. Like I can't watch a lot of it because they're a bit maybe a bit too high energy for me, right?
Yeah,
But like they're definitely like more on the extrovert end of the kind of
yeah,
spectrum, and after a while you can be like, okay, like you know, give someone else a turn to be like the center of attention, But
yeah,
Mhm.
um, I like the fun, I like the enthusiasm, and I like the fact that they are actually like role playing. It's not just
yeah,
purely mechanistic,
and
approach. So there are bits of it that I like, you know.
yeah, and they'll have bona fide gamers on there. Like
Hmm.
there's like and some of them are like kind of like improv actors and things like that. I get it, so it's fine,
Right.
and then it's a great hobby. I wouldn't mind taking
Hmm.
an improv class. And then
Hmm.
like some guys like he's been playing. He's a good improv actor, but he's been playing Traveler. As long as us. He's like our age almost, and I forget what his name was. God, he's got like white hair, glasses, kind of older person, and like he's got all the toys in the background, the TIE fighters and
Hmm.
things like that, and
Mhm.
he'll talk about I played Traveler as a kid and this and that, or had a friend that ran it for me. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. They were playing the One Ring, and he was talking about how when he was 5 years old, he asked his parents to take him to the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings. and
Hmm.
and he was 5 years old, and his parents were hippies, and they loved Lord of the Rings, and they liked Ralph Bakshi, but they know Ralph Bakshi from Fritz the Cat, and they're like, "This is not going to be
Uh,
appropriate for a kid." But I guess he
yeah.
convinced.
Well, mm, a lot happened between those two movies. Just saying.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So
you guys ever seen Fritz the Cat?
Yeah.
just clips.
Okay, okay. It's. I mean, it's kind of almost tame in a lot of ways for
Yeah,
Because
what we've seen. But
that's
yeah,
like
back
our
then.
crumb. That's our crumb, right? Like that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that kind of stuff.
cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Mad Magazine and uh, was it not Wally West? What's the other guy? Oh God.
I mean, I liked our crumb's drawing style, and like I
Mhm.
found some of it funny, but I didn't really relate to like how neurotic. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
very.
Uh, as you get older, it did he do
Yeah.
Rat Fink? I think he did Rat Fink as well. But I remember. Well, I'm pretty sure one of his pieces that I remember the most was the Mad Magazine Hound of the Basketballs,
Hmm.
and because it was this little tiny comic book inside the regular larger size Mad magazines. Because Mad Magazine originally was a tiny little like zine, a little comic
yeah,
zine back in the '60s, but by the time like George and I were able to pick it up, like with Crack magazine and Mad magazine on the Next to Time magazine, it was a bigger magazine and it had gotten cleaned up a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And every
I mean,
once in a while,
even
there.
sorry, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
All right,
I was
I'll
just
be.
gonna say, even like later kind of indie comics when we sort of had like the era of the graphic novel, like Daniel Close, like Ghost World and stuff. It's always like when comics aren't focused on action and adventure, it always seems to end up being about the neuroses of the author and his his girl drama, you
Mhm.
know?
Or their paranoias or um,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah,
other weird fetishes they have, which I've noticed a lot. But the
yeah.
old Mad the Mad magazines used to have a little reprint of the little tiny zines inside it. They would have those special edition Mad magazines that were like double sized, and they'd put something extra in it. Sometimes it was one of those like those really thin records that was like on
Oh yeah,
like you remember those? Well,
Flexi,
yeah.
so,
flexi disc, yeah.
and sometimes it was a reprint of a Mad magazine comic book, or some other little like a sticker or something, they throw in there. And I remember the Hound of the Basketballs, while it being a parody of Sherlock Holmes, I'm pretty sure it was R. Crumb because every frame had so much going on, so many little weird like characters in the background doing completely insane things that had nothing to do with
Mhm.
the story. And if you paid any attention, it would take you like 2-3 minutes just to look at one panel at a time, just absorbing all the little subliminal stuff. I
Well, that's
absolutely
what I
have
love.
to.
That's what I loved about John Blanche, like just so much
Mhm,
detail buried in like the cover of a, a box game, like
mhm.
lots of little things happening. Is this soccer game happening in the back? Is this too loud? Should I go back inside?
No, I can't even hear it.
Or,
No
okay,
worries,
cool.
squirrel. You remember that in Mad Magazine, there'd be little tiny hidden Sergio Aragonés cartoons, like the size of like a centimeter, maybe 2 centimeters, like hidden all throughout the magazine. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, here
okay.
and there. Like, yeah, I remember. Like, I don't remember if it was on all of them, but yeah, some of them would have things like that. I used to love the Spy versus Spy
No, I
thing.
mean
I mean, I had
like hidden like in the margins and things like these little tiny little like one image of something weird going on, but if you looked at it, you could see why it was funny. Um, he's also the same guy that did the folding covers in the
Oh
back,
yeah, I
you
used to
know,
love that.
and then he
yeah.
did Gru. Um,
I only ever bought a few issues of Mad, and it was purely out of curiosity. I had like no context. I had no
mhm,
idea what it was. I just always used to see the cover and like kind of chuckle at it.
mhm.
And I only ever had a few, but I did like I thought they were hilarious. I mean, I was a kid, so
Some of the art was phenomenal.
yeah.
I forget the guy who did the parodies. That's I actually one of the ones I had was a parody of Lord of the Rings, and the guy who did the art, he would do like Stallone or Mark Hamill. They would look
Uh,
perfect, but with like
yeah, yeah,
bigger
yeah.
chins.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
could
who
see it
that guy
in my
was.
I could see Stallone in my mind's eye like already.
It
Like
was
I
just
know what you're
like
talking about.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so good, but just like so like contorted,
You know
distorted,
what?
exaggerated.
It's a bit of a segue, but like I was thinking just then about other things that I bought without having watched 6 hours of YouTube videos about that thing first, like
Mhm,
reading pages and pages of product reviews before buying a pencil. I kind of miss the
Yeah,
days when you would buy a record or watch a movie or buy a game or read a book. without knowing anything about it first, and just taking a gamble on, like, the overall vibe.
Yeah.
you know
I still take a few chances. I took a chance with the Outgunned Kickstarter. I took a chance. Well, I took
Yeah.
a chance with the Gummy Miniatures and Dice Kickstarter. I'll
Hmm.
probably never see my money on that one, and that'll be like the only one that it's never come through. Um, which is a shame because like right now would be the perfect time for it to come through because Jackie's out of high school. His friends are
Yeah.
coming over for his birthday party, and then a couple days later will be the 4th of July. You
Yeah.
know, but
I mean,
every once in a while,
I remember buying like a Kraftwerk record because I knew they'd worked with David Bowie, and I liked David Bowie, and I put it on, and I was like, this is really weird. I'm like, it's really tight and mechanical, but it's like funky at the same time. Like, I'd never heard anything like it.
I bought
you
a
know?
I bought a CD recently. Oh my god, I can't remember who it was. It was like that. I took a chance because and I lost it. There was one song on the CD that I really really liked, and
Mhm.
I knew I would never. Oh, it was B Movie Nowhere Girl, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I bought the CD and because I love that song. It's freaking haunting,
Hmm.
like that song and a bunch of Echo and the Bunnymen was like and the Alarm and a few other bands, the Church, was
Hmm.
like where I hung out when it came to new wave, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I found the CD. It wasn't just like the single, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a chance because I love that song, and I bet you it'll be okay. And it was okay. There was some
Well,
stinkers on there.
they've got another one. Didn't they do another one about Marilyn Monroe, which is like Marilyn Dreams, or am I thinking of
Maybe
another post-punk
I don't
kind
know.
of
I'd
thing?
have to go look on the CD. I'll let you
But
know.
I
Remind
remember
me later.
there were several versions of Nowhere Girl. Like, there was like a
Oh yeah,
12
yeah.
inch, and so like I
Oh,
used to DJ very occasionally,
mhm,
but um I mean, that band at the time, you could only get their tracks on like blogs and stuff. They'd kind of
mhm.
disappeared at that point, so it was
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
good
yeah.
that they
There
got.
were. I To this day. I mean, uh, I can't name five people that remember that song. But I mean,
Mhm.
you couldn't put that out today. But good news on the well, not on the horizon, in the rearview
Mm.
mirror. Just a couple of days ago, was the first time there wasn't a rap song in like the top 40 or top 10 or whatever.
That's
Huh.
interesting.
So rap is on its way out. Maybe we can get a revival of like new wave that hasn't come back yet. Bring that shit back. You know,
Yeah.
It's
Bring
kind
Duran
of
Duran back.
it's kind of it's kind of come back several times, but like never in a massively mainstream kind of way. Like,
okay, I must have missed it
it's
both
like
those times.
the
Uh,
80s revival. The 80s revival pretty much has gone on longer than the 80s, and like almost began in the
in the
mid to late
70s.
90s. Like,
Well,
like
it,
there's so many bands that like are inspired by like that kind of
I
thing.
miss Tower Records
But
as well and Licorice Pizza. No, what I mean though is because like the '80s had several different genres of music. Okay, it
yeah,
wasn't just like because you had new wave, you had punk or leftover, you had metal, you had um, progressive was getting big during that period. Bands like Rush and Triumph and UFO and things like that.
Golden Earring.
and
Gold,
disco.
fuck yeah. Um, uh, Take care, Steven. And but like the new wave and and the sort of like almost proto goth kind of music.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't know that that's if it's made a comeback. It was so minor and so away from the mainstream. Whereas, you know, for us, we had K Rock and KMT KLOS in California, and all those stations while they were playing, still playing Van Halen, they were still playing a lot of other, like if they were like a rock station, they were still playing some of these songs like Oingo Boingo or Devo or whatever, which
Well, I
was
think a lot of the kind of comeback periods, like the first major one was probably in about 2001, 2002, when Electric Clash was like a big thing in nightclubs, and like that definitely brought back a kind of 80s sound. But all of these things have been basically so online, like they've never crossed over into like the top 40.
Mhm.
It hasn't returned to preeminence like it had. I think people quite like the whole synth wave thing. Um,
Mhm.
but that seems to have died off a little bit as well,
Yeah,
probably
but
because
that's like usually almost entirely like without lyrics, correct?
about half of it. I mean, I have a lot of synthwave for someone who's kind of meh about the genre, but like probably a good half of it has vocals. It's just I think a lot of that music would probably be being displaced by like AI and stuff like that now. And
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't really know what the state of like electronic music is in 2026.
yeah.
Like I have like
I
pretty
would
big.
be very careful because I mean, with the proliferation of AI music, um, we're never gonna, you know, we could literally, be sold a bill of goods with hey, there's this great new band, but turns out they were
Well,
AI the
that's
whole
it's
time.
already it's already happened a couple of times. There was a metal band that like took off, and there was a more kind of pop band that took off, and then they were both revealed to just be kind of very heavily edited AI. But generally speaking, when I've heard AI music, like it sounds a bit off to me. Like it
Uh-huh.
doesn't. There's something about the fact that it's just following the formula, and that it's kind of not there's no sound of the room in there, like around the vocal, or there's no the way the levels are is kind of like just kind of averaged out. So it sounds a bit tinny to me, but like
Uh-huh.
but it'll probably get to the point where it'll be indistinguishable for sure. Like, you know.
Right. Well, I mean that's the goal, isn't it? Not for me. I mean, I like knowing that there's real people on stage somewhere performing this music that they
I don't know.
created
I mean,
versus, you know,
probably probably like it was probably not realistic that like having a top 10 song make you a millionaire forever like it used to be. Like
yeah.
that was probably something that we could hang on to forever. But I do think that um like when people think of artists, they sometimes think of like the worst person they know on Twitter, and not someone who gets up every day and actually works really hard on their, you know what I mean? Like
Mm,
on their craft. So, like it's coming for the artist at the moment, but then it might come for, other people as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I stopped railing against it because it's so inevitable, and so many people I know use it, and I don't want to get up their nose about it if they're just doing a campaign or something. You know what I mean? Like,
mhm, mhm.
I don't want to be so
Well, I
militant
mean,
about it.
the problem is though, you know, like everybody has like, it seems like there's an area where it's perfectly fine. Go ahead and use AI. You
Yeah,
probably should use AI, but
yeah,
then
yeah,
they got an area where like you should never use AI for this. But
yeah,
we're going to get to this bottleneck where it's going to be everything
yeah,
creative.
probably.
You know what I mean? And then we're going to be in Logan's Run, where we're just consumers and no longer creators of any of that because, why
I
bother?
mean,
You're never going to, you can't actually make money at it.
I don't
Because
love
the
it. Like I kind of really don't love it, but like I just like my resistance to it is not really relevant to like history. You know what I
well,
mean?
that's the
It's
problem.
gonna
Nobody's is.
happen. It's going to happen whether I like it or not.
That's the thing. The
You
big
know,
companies that make everything can
yeah.
find one way or another to profit off it and make it impossible for other people to profit off a former discipline
I
of
mean,
art.
to be
So
honest
maybe
with you, when I look
sculpting,
at something, when I look at something like the new Talisman game, right? Like, and I think about like, yeah, Talisman's a very basic game, but we had a lot of fun with it back in the day, even though it was
Mhm.
kind of silly. And they've kind of improved the end game side of the rules a little bit, and the miniatures look nice. So I was like thinking about it, but I'm looking at reviews of it, and it's like the artwork is so obviously like just generated and then touched up a little bit, and I'm just like, I don't want to pay $70 Australian. I don't want to pay like $50 US for something that
Mhm.
you know, some they just kind of like sausage minced out of the machine, like so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but I mean,
look on the
if
bright
if
side.
people are
Nobody lives
using it,
forever.
if people are using it for their own purposes and getting something good out of it, like good for them. But like, it's
Hmm.
it's not for it's not for me. I have no cure. I'm not even curious about it. Like I don't even
I almost forgot.
like. Mm,
OGGM. We're playing this Shadow Dark game. If you know anything about
mhm,
OGGM, his games are insanely incredible, or not insanely, but very, very silly. We have a lot of fun. We don't take anything too serious. There's a lot of joking going on.
mhm,
And in the previous games, we had one of the players was a captain, like a pirate captain, and had a bunch of goblin pirates under her wing, right? Well,
mhm,
I'm running an elf ninja who's known as the lazy ninja because I've fallen asleep on the stream
mhm.
a couple of times, and because I don't ever want to do anything because it's always going to get us killed because I've lost like 12 characters in his game already. So I'm always like
Well,
really careful. I don't want to do anything. So the start of today's game, go ahead and watch it. He AI'd a song, a Scooby Doo theme song about my character, Nori the Lazy Ninja, and he hit us with this thing. First thing, George,
Yeah.
whatever it is you're doing, don't do that.
Sorry.
It's like you're eating. It's like um, you were Jaws, the character from the James Bond movie, eating a car. So OGGM made a theme song for my character, Nori the Lazy Ninja, but it was a Scooby Doo theme song, and it was just
mhm.
like, oh my god, this is so bad and so funny. Uh, I'll see if I think he sent it to me. I'll send it to you guys later, or you can go watch his show and watch just how ridiculous our games can be. But he used AI, and I'm sure it took him all of like 11 minutes to make it, and it was funny, and it was cute. And the one for Jen's character, the pirate theme song, was also great. Because I mean, if you think about it, what would it cost to hire a band to write you a 2 minute song? With these criteria, it's going to be
Well,
you're not
it
going to be
would
able to get it done for $50. You know what I mean?
it would use less water.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
There is that.
yeah. Or just mute and
But
carry on. But you see my point. When we're just goofing off playing a game, we can't afford to go hire a group of musicians to do that. You know what I mean?
I
We
get
just
I get that, but here's the other thing is like I don't understand why you Americans are so atomized and individualistic that you don't just collaborate on these things. Like I don't want to sound like I live in some sort of artistic hippie commune or something, but like in my extended circle of friends, if I needed someone to produce artwork, I'm sure I could find someone. Or if I needed someone
sure
to produce a song, because like I can
music.
I can dabble in I can dabble with art and I can dabble with music, but I know people who are actually like great at it, and
I
they would just
other than
fart something out
Jackie.
in five. They just fart something out in 5 minutes and email it to me, like.
Other than Jackie and his music teacher, I don't know any musicians. Oh no, I do know another musician. But I asked him. I
Yeah,
actually asked him, "Hey, I need a song. I'll pay for it. I just need like a 2 minute, piece of music." I described it in detail, really
yeah.
simple. He never got back to me.
Oh,
So
well, you
there's
should
that.
you should let me know the brief, and I'll tell you whether or not I can do it.
Okay,
'Cause,
I'll tell you off
yeah,
camera because we had
yeah,
this
yeah.
great idea. I don't think I can get Jackie to do it now, but we'll
Hmm.
try because the problem is for a 2 or 3 minute bit of video, it would take us like 3 hours minimum for setup, film, and breakdown, and that would mean that he and his mom would have to put up with this stupid idea of mine. That would be
Hmm.
hysterical, but we'll see because um, I think it's got some merit. I'll share with
Because
you
I
guys
mean,
maybe off camera. Um,
I don't know. I mean, like I think of myself as like a good musician and artist, but I probably rely on texture and effects and kind of tripping things out a fair bit. But
so Cal,
I have no musical talent.
like, I don't know. I just thought like if you've got a community of like RPG writers, like you would just naturally cultivate and kind of cross promote the work of
mhm. You
like
would
other
think so,
people,
but
and you
unfortunately,
kind of work
like
together on these things, like
yeah, the problem with that is that um, I I've tried working with some other people, on the internet, and
yeah,
a lot of people will say yes, but then just flake. You know, there's
yeah.
no
I mean,
money or there's no
I have
benefit.
I've even been one of those people. Like it depends on where you're at in your life, and like
Mhm.
how much time you really have versus what you aspire to be doing, right? But um, like I don't know. I just kind of think that you guys should put the word out a bit more, and kind of work on your relationships with people like that, because they need somewhere to show their work as well. There's a lot of work that just never gets
Absolutely,
shown.
absolutely.
You know? Like, I know some pretty great artists who are just like they're just gonna die in obscurity, really. And it's not like they aren't diligent with their art, but they're not marketing people. And in the art world, if you don't have a cool backstory or kind of the right connections, it can
Hmm.
be quite difficult to take off. I mean, I had a friend who self-taught himself like lino cuts and drawing and stuff, and he ended up having a little exhibition at an art shop where they had like the wine and the cheese and all that sort of thing. And he left
Hmm.
early, and I said, "Why did you leave?" And he's like, "I just hated everybody there." So, you know, you know,
You
sometimes,
got to be able to, kind of understand that. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
dating this girl a long time ago, and her friends all of them were artists, and
Mm-hmm,
literally, they lived in this little art colony, and
mm-hmm,
most of them I couldn't stand. I just could. They were so up their own
yeah,
asses because they lived and breathed all day long in this little area that just reinforced that they were special,
yeah,
and most of their art was just mediocre at best, um
yeah.
and but oh my god, they talk a big game out, and each and every one of them had some other side gig that actually made their
Well,
real money, you know uh
you would have to. You would have to. I mean,
right.
ultimately, but I mean, this whole kind of like, uh, thing of uh, like even an average artist shouldn't be able to make a living. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I make certain choices in my life that mean I have a lot more free time. I wouldn't say I'm poor, but I have to be austere with the because I don't work and I just kind of live off what I've invested, like I have to be pretty frugal to make it work, right? But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, once upon a time, like 5, 7 years ago, you probably could do a lot better. Am I right? Doing the same thing
well,
5 years
five
ago,
to five to
five,
seven
six.
years ago, I would have been working full time,
Yeah.
like making
No, I
money.
mean the
Like,
economy, though. I mean the economy.
oh yeah, definitely. My dollar would have gone way further,
Hmm.
for sure.
Hmm.
For sure. I
That
mean,
would.
I remember when we had near parity with the US dollar, and like I was like, I'm gonna buy every guitar pedal in existence. you know.
Hmm. And now you can't even get one.
Well, now guitar pedals are like $200 or $300 for a good one. You know.
Hmm.
So
I remember when they were
yeah,
like $10 a piece. A buddy of mine who's playing the guitar would get a couple a week, brand new ones.
yeah.
Uh, and at one
I
point, I
mean,
mean, the floor was just freaking riddled with them.
there are still some sort of like $50 and $60 kind of Chinese clones out there that are quite surprising. Where you're like, oh, that's actually
Hmm.
pretty good little shimmer reverb for like a little pedal. But I always liked the multi effects, so I only needed like one or two pedals rather than you know one for everything.
Yeah,
you know?
and even when Jackie's friend Alex was living here, he was a guitarist, and
Mhm.
he had a few, and he was able to pick up new ones here and there. But it was still a big deal when he did that. It was like, check out this new
Yeah,
pedal. And I'd be like,
yeah. I mean,
okay.
they make some really innovative ones today that are like quite
Oh
interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my god,
But
I just put my paintbrush in my drinking water.
it's happened. It's happened to the best of
You're
us.
not a real painter unless you do that on a regular basis, or at least once or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't do it with like any real cadmium paint. you know, that's not a good idea. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I generally find that the cost of everything has gone up quite a bit. I mean, some things probably had to change. For example, I mean, the USPS was, I think, subsidizing shipping almost everywhere around the world, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, I mean, even to this day, I can. If I buy anything from China, shipping is free. I'm like,
yeah,
what? They're our freaking,
yeah,
biggest adversary in so many things, but yet bring it on, bring us all your cheap Chinese crap.
yeah. Well, I mean
Makes no sense
that's
to
the
me.
other thing is I kind of remember the era before the proliferation of like cheap Amazon Chinese and everything, and I'm like, well, it's kind of cool having cheap consumer goods, but there was a lot less plastic everywhere. you
Yeah,
know?
and not only that, but it didn't take long for us to realize that, oh, this thing, whatever it was going to break in like 6 months at best. It was
Yeah,
never going to
in a lot of
last
cases.
like a year. You buy a
In a lot of
plastic
cases,
bin,
yeah.
you might as well just buy a cardboard box. It's going to crack. As a matter of fact, the cardboard box might even outlast some of the shitty, uh, plastic. Come
Well,
on, man! It needs all kinds of
I
heavy
was gonna
metals.
say it's made out of soy, but I don't want to trigger YouTube's monitoring algorithm, so we won't make
Yeah,
references to soy here. But
yeah. I think that's uh, how do I put it? I don't think everybody lives by the same algorithm.
yeah,
It's really weird. Like things
well, I
people
think
tell me, they can't get or they can't see or they can't say.
I've been
I don't have
unsubscribed. I've
problems
been
with. And then other
unsubscribed from your
things,
channel. I've been unsubscribed from your channel, and I can't see when DM James is casting live. Like I have to go over to the live section of his page to see that he's streaming.
really.
Yeah,
So they don't like him over there, huh?
yeah. Probably not. I mean, you
Can't
know,
imagine
he's a
why.
troublemaker.
He's such a lovely guy.
He's a twisted fire starter, to quote the Prodigy.
Uh huh.
But yeah. Yeah, there are a few channels where they're like, oh, I'm just gonna casually unsubscribe you, or you're gonna lose that watch later.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they put things in watch. I
Uh,
usually use my likes as a watch later kind of thing, just
mhm.
as a backup. But
That doesn't always work, but yeah.
yeah. Well, there you go. People always ask me why I delete my comments after a while. I'm like, well, it's because I don't trust them.
Well, even you watch later. There have been a ton of things I went to go look for watch later. Now, the owner of the video could have taken it down,
Mm-hmm.
but I find that hard to believe with the kind of stuff I save for watch later. It's never anything, it's just usually things that are longer than I have the time to spend. So I'll put it on the watch later, so I'll listen to it at night, when I'm trying to go to bed instead of, spending 45 minutes in the middle of the afternoon, trying to listen intently to this video or what have you, which will just,
Yeah.
screw up my whole freaking afternoon. I just wasted 45 minutes, watching something that, for purely entertainment,
Well, I
when
try
I
not to
should be
watch anything
doing
that
something.
I try not to watch anything that really screws with my algorithm. Like, I try not to watch too much like automatically generated stuff, so I don't get just recommended that.
Hmm.
And when it comes to politics, I don't subscribe to any news channel, any politics channel, any polemic channel. And if I do watch politics, I think people would probably find that I watch a fairly even, maybe a slight bias towards the right, but like I do watch left wing sources as well just to see what the general, you know what I mean? Like it's not
Uh,
like I don't try and get a broader input, but like, I mean, it's not my fault they just talk about people's hairstyles, but you know,
mhm.
um, so I don't really get it. I don't really get why it's that much of a problem. I mean, it seems like all of the really crazy fringe people that like come and go in this space don't last long anyway. They usually burn themselves out, right?
Well,
So
I find lately that it seems like it's actually other platforms like TikTok and Instagram and things like that have that like the people I watch, they're grabbing stuff from those platforms to like show you like, look at this crazy person, look at that crazy person, but they're not finding it on YouTube, they're finding it over there,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I don't care, I don't watch, you know, TikTok
Well,
or any of that.
I'm mostly watching stuff about the hobby or
I,
music. Or
that's
music,
kind of my thing as
basically.
well.
Yeah.
Or our friends out there that have channels, or I'm doing research, or occasionally I watch a lot of physics and astrophysics and
Yeah.
science and prepper stuff. I watch a lot of prepper
Oh,
stuff,
what?
but it's usually lately it's been that AI generated stuff. It's like 50 things they used to do in the 19 such and such. It's illegal now.
Yeah.
Um,
With a half hour preamble, like
uh-huh.
You
you
know,
know.
I just finished reading, listening to an audiobook of it, of Project Hail Mary. You might like that, uh, Shadow.
I've heard several people said I might like it. I have no idea what it is, where to find it. Someone's gonna have to send me a link, or it'll
it
just pass me by.
it's a well, it's you get it at the library. You might be able to find it. It's very popular, so you might have trouble getting it.
I go to
They
my
made
library once a year, and that's only because the car show is at the same park, and that was because Jackie was volunteering at the park with JROTC. This year, I have no idea what's going to happen. Are we going to go to the car show? There's a good chance we won't, which sucks because I like looking at the old cars and going to the library.
yeah, it's they made it to a movie as well. But me reading the book, it's very technical. If have you read The Martian, it's the same guy who did the Martian, or
Okay,
was he in the
I saw
movie?
the movie with Matt Damon. Uh,
Yeah, that was cool. And yeah, the book was good.
uh, I'd rather
It's
watch Team
surprising.
America again.
Yeah, it's surprisingly Project Hail Mary can get technical, but not too technical, and still
Uh,
somehow keep your attention. It's pretty cool. I think I'm very surprised by that. There's a
I'm,
couple
I'm
of
I'm okay with technical. A lot of the stuff that I've been watching lately is very technical, but it pisses me off. Like I was watching. I did watch one really good video about like all the mysteries. You know, like uh, the gate of the sun and the elongated skulls and a bunch of other stuff.
Mhm.
And like it like ripped and debunked a whole bunch of them. And I went and double checked on several of them, and sure enough, a lot of that shit is just wishful thinking, UFO nuts, trying to make something where there is nothing, and literally like giving credence to people who are completely unaccredited, un uh, what's it called, where they actually have no actual expertise or degree. They're just pulling shit out of their
Yeah.
ass, unaccredited.
Well, it's good to like fact check your own stuff and not leave
Yeah.
it to the fact checkers, right? Because sometimes they get
Mhm.
things pretty wrong. But the thing that always embarrasses me when I do that is I go back to the source, particularly when you're talking about something with science, and I realize how little I actually understand about physics and the nature of how the world works and how nature
Mm.
works. I'm like, holy crap, why didn't they teach me any of this in school? You know?
I know. I was really tempted to steal Jackie's physics textbook from school when he was turning in his books, but
Uh-huh.
I know I could just buy it. And then I tried reading it, and I'm like, oh crap! I'm glad I didn't steal this. I have no idea what they're saying because
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
math in here, math beyond
yeah.
plus and minus. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm
You
not.
know.
I was always more like good at the humanities subjects, but like as I've gotten older, like I try to learn a bit more about science, and I just realized I don't. You know, there's so much that I don't actually know. Like, holy heck.
Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, there's like all kinds of free classes, but like with what I've been doing, I just through repetition, like watching certain videos, not the same video over again, but they keep recommending videos, and like I'm starting to be able to remember like they're talking about like different phenomenon out in space, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, they're going to talk about this, and then sure enough, I'm right. They're talking about the
yeah. I
different
was
weird
saying that
things
to
that they
my
discovered, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can fast forward this one because I remembered, from the previous lessons, let's call it, different things, but um,
I mean,
if you
I
find a
was
topic and you just watch it like for fun, you'd be amazed how much stuff you can pick up and start to not feel so retarded, because
Yeah.
like when I first got into this, I was like, I don't know any of this, but
Yeah,
after,
I agree. It's just I chose like the English Civil War and Necron law, and I'm like useless as a result.
Cromwell.
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly. Yeah,
What was that movie with? Was it Richard Harris? One of
yeah,
the guy man who played Man Called Horse. That guy.
yeah,
That was a good movie.
yeah,
Away
yeah. I
with
think
this
so.
bubble, and he just throws the like sort of the
Yeah, yeah.
scepter or
No,
whatever.
I it's on YouTube for free, Cromwell, And so is another good movie of the Pike and Shot era, Alatriste, which is like I think it's Viggo Mortensen. I didn't
Okay.
know he spoke. I didn't know he spoke perfect Spanish, but he's kind of like the Spanish Sharp. He does a lot of swashbuckling and
Uh,
beds a lot of questionable women, and he's always in trouble, and his boots are dirty. You know. But,
Vigo.
yeah, I was kind of like surprised when I realized like how long he's been an actor. When
yeah,
the Lord of the Rings rolled around, I thought that was like remember in Dune, the first version, where it was full of these actors we'd never heard of. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Hmm.
And it's like, they've actually been around for a while. They didn't just find this homeless guy on the street to pay
Yeah.
to play Paul's father. You know, he's
Yeah.
mhm,
actually been around.
Das
Um,
Boot.
yeah.
right. But at the time, it seemed like they're these nobodies, and that's how I felt about Vigo. But then I did a little research. Did
Oh yeah.
whatever. It was like, oh yeah, that's right. He was in this movie, and he was
He
in
played.
that movie.
I don't know if it was before Lord of the Rings. I think it was before Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was before Lord of the Rings. What was that movie? It was like Vigo. Well, Vigo. Some I don't. The main actor I don't remember. But there was Vigo. There was he plays the devil in the at the end of the movie
In the
with the angel.
prophecy
Prophecy. That's it. Thank you. I couldn't remember it.
with Christopher
Uh,
Walken. Oh yeah.
Walken. The red-haired guy was in the beginning for a little bit. Gosh,
That's
yeah,
He was in Pulp Fiction, right?
yeah. The and like the one of those movies where like my wife likes it because it's like those 80 movies where like kind of a Brat Pack movie, but a little bit later at the end. Gosh, I can't remember his name. Eric Stoltz.
Thank you.
Stoltz.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in some good movies. Oh man. So yeah, he was an angel. That was kind of a weird concept. I don't know if it took anything from somewhere. And I think you've seen the main actor. He's just like guess he was going to be a priest or something, and he lost his face by seeing too much. I guess it's kind of an interesting concept.
It's honestly that movie. It's been so long since I saw it. I just know I loved it,
Hmm.
and now I couldn't tell you anything about it other than what I just
Yeah,
told you. Christopher Walken's in it. He's awesome. He's evil as fuck, and yeah, that's
yeah,
it. That's all I remember. I think
yeah.
there
He
was a
was.
girl in there.
Yeah,
Uh,
she was. So yeah, he had like a servant. Like, I guess it's some kind of animated corpse. Usually somebody that committed suicide because they
oh
just
yeah, that was wasn't that
basically
Amanda
rot.
Plummer?
I don't know the actress's name, but she was like in Pulp Fiction for a little bit,
Yeah, that's
from what I
Amanda
remember.
Plummer.
Freeze, or I'll blow your fucking head off.
Yeah, and what like uh, she's one of those women that just like I just feel so sorry for her. It's like you got into Hollywood and you got into movies, but these are the parts you always get.
Yeah,
It's like, was it worth it? Please tell me it was worth it. And you have a nice, happy life. You're married,
yeah,
kids, and your kids have never seen your movies, and you'll never let them see your movies.
yeah. And usually, like you'll see them on like the red carpet, and they're beautiful. And it's like, how did they uglify her so much for the movie? Like they did just like I don't know. They just like not feed her for a month and just put some
Hey, what's up,
bad makeup
Brian?
on her.
He was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was the best part of the whole flick. Plays a great crazy. Well, Aragorn was crazy. What are you talking about?
I think he was GI Jane before that because he was in GI Jane as well.
I never saw that. I couldn't
That's the
stand. Was that Demi Moore? Yeah, I couldn't stand
Demi
her.
Moore.
Brian, what
Uh,
are you doing? If you got time to type in the chat, you got time to click the link. Come on in. It's been for freaking ever. I was just talking about you the other day. I guess I have to like say your name 3 times in front of a mirror to get you to show up.
you have to
I
keep it
think the
weird.
best movie with an angel in it is Wings of Desire. It's got it's got cameo appearance from Nick Cave in it, but it's also got Peter Falk playing himself. And in the movie, it's revealed that Peter Falk was an angel who's like reverted back to mortal status because he was kind of bored up there and he likes being involved in.
Isn't Peter Falk the guy who played Beretta and also like killed somebody?
Oh,
Well,
this
Peter
is
Falk was the guy who played Columbo.
Oh,
was this
okay, okay. I was thinking somebody else.
Yeah,
was this a German film?
yeah. Wim
I
Wenders.
I was thinking
yeah.
yeah.
There was this
Yeah,
time in the '90s. They had like IFC, Independent Film Channel, when it was just playing the best stuff. I remember seeing that movie. They had this
yeah,
weird show called Fishing with John, where this guy would just take people he knows, which are like Hollywood actors and directors, fishing in all sorts of weird places, like Jim Jarmusch and
yeah. I
oh
mean,
gosh, Dennis
you
Hopper,
know,
like doing fishing in
it's
like
a little bit
Vietnam.
it's a little
Hmm.
bit artsy, but it's got a lot of heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's got a
I want to say what's
yeah.
his name was in there. Lou Reed was in it too, or like the angel was like a Lou Reed fan or something.
Well, I know Nick Cave was in it. Let's have a look. Let's look it up.
Maybe it was Nick Cave then. Or maybe I was confusing him.
Yeah, there's like
So I think at the time I wouldn't have known who Nick Cave was.
yeah. It's
Yeah, that
like
was a
okay,
good
so
movie.
in a Berlin Wall divided by in a Berlin divided by the wall, two angels, Damiel and Cassiel, watch the city, unseen and unheard by its human inhabitants. Yeah, I remember it being quite moving. Like there's a guy who's in the library studying and an angel sitting next to him. Like everybody's got one of these people sitting next to them that they can't see that's like helping them along the way.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember now. I remember Peter Falk in it. He was like doing
Yeah.
a thing of his drawings
But
on
he's basically dressed as Columbo, right?
yeah,
Like he's
yeah,
wearing a coat and everything.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I think he was like yeah he's doing the thing and it's like they were talking about painting or something like that and color. It's like, oh, maybe you should like do some color, and
Yeah.
and he goes like this. Michelangelo once said, "It's all in the drawings. The rest you get by pissing on it." Something like that. I think it was that movie I heard him say that. It was kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
It is all in the drawing, but it does make it nicer
Yeah.
to add some color here and there.
Sure. So are you new to miniature painting in a way, or are you coming back to it after some years or
Me, I'm pretty much new to it. It's like it's an ancillary thing to the hobby, but I did like
Mhm.
uh painting. I like one thing I do like is printing them for like the tabletop.
Mhm.
Bringing like I'll print out and even if it's on an FDM, I'll print out a mini and put it
Yeah.
on the for. I found this one guy. He had these videos like how to print and how to set up your settings and stuff. Best for printing on a
Yeah.
tabletop. It can get really crunchy though. Some of those videos, but they're
From
not
what
too
I
bad.
gather, the FDM is getting better at
Yeah.
like producing like really visible layer lines. Like eventually, I think it'll get there like
hmm
100%.
Yeah, I'm hoping like once you even when you paint it, it depends. Some of the different. Well, part of it is a lot of it's just getting a good print. Even if you see the layer lines, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a lot of other things like supports. That's a big
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
Um, I can't like I have trouble just getting like I'll do tricks like turning things sideways and the supports would be on the back. So like they'll show up on the cape and you got to sand the hell out of it. It's still hard to get rid of them, but at least they're
Hmm.
not like on fragile parts. So like that's what 90% of the time what happens is well 90 about half the prints I do get ruined because I snap an arm off or something because I'm trying to take the supports
Yeah.
off. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know if that's the same with the resin ones. Like, is that a big trouble too? Well, I picture that
Well,
the material is a little stronger.
I do know though, but I've been watching both closely for a while, right? And I'm like, eventually I will get into it when it's totally idiot proof and like the process, particularly for resin, is a bit cleaner.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's
I will definitely get into it because otherwise, I'm gonna have to get some kind of grow tent to put it in and like vent the fumes out the garage. You know, like through the
Yeah.
door or
I,
something.
I think that was the main reason I got the FDM. I really wanted just to do minis, but and there's always that thing like, oh well, the kids will learn about this new technology, and they haven't even
Yeah,
touched it. They haven't even asked me to
yeah.
print anything. But I
I
guess
mean, the thing is, everyone I know who's gotten one has said it was surprisingly easy to set up. They were like, I
yeah,
was printing the same day. Like, it's actually not hard to
yeah,
set up.
in the last 2 years, yes, but if you go back a little further, they were
Yeah.
kind of kind of complicated. But now,
Yeah.
they've made them as idiot proof as possible. I'm sure they're
Well,
still going
that's
to
where I
keep
come in.
yeah.
still making them. Uh,
Puncture printed minis in hot water
I'm going to get a cup of
helps
tea.
make the supports a little more flexible. Ah, okay. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Dino Laser.
That's good to know.
what's up, Dino? For me, most of the FDM prints I've ever received, I've hated. Uh, the lines, if I and the sanding is like no, 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 no. I'm doing this so I don't have to sand as much because like buying a regular miniature, a metal or plastic, I don't have to do that kind of sanding, to get rid of that many lines. It's like one line all the way around the whole mold miniature. That's all I gotta get rid of. And sometimes I don't because it's hidden in the hair or the fur and you don't see it.
Hmm.
But if I've got to do the whole cape or a whole wall or whatever, I'm like I have
Well,
tossed out so many FDM
the
prints that I bought that just like
the
Sometimes the lines
idea
can
with
work for
resin,
you.
the idea with
Oh, go ahead.
resin is you don't have any cleanup, right? But there's always some. There's always a little bit, right?
I've picked up some resin lately and uh, just gorgeous. Right. You know, as soon as they hand it off to me, they're like,
Hmm.
"Okay, I'm good. I'm happy." Others went right. I got them out of the mail. Complained to the seller. Said I'm just throwing this in the trash. You know.
I mean, when it comes to regular plastic and metal, there are some things where, like lately, I've been like, I'm just gonna leave the mold lines on or not be super crazy because I'm normally a bit nuts about them to the point where I clean everything like 3 times and like rinse it. You know, it's a bit nuts.
Mhm.
So, like, I've been like leaving things a bit more, and I'm like, this doesn't even come up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or
Mhm.
if you're dealing with a small scale mini, like a 10 mil mini, like, I'm like, this doesn't even show, like, really.
I don't know if you can
It really
see it.
depends on where the lines are and what they're a lot of times they do get like uh, disguised by the hem of a pair of pants or the
Yeah,
hem of a
yeah.
shirt or the line of a cloak or fur or things like that, or maybe it's on a mechanical like a robot or something, and it just looks like one of the panel lines,
Like
but then there's other
the North
times
Star
when
minis,
it's on a
the North Star
horse.
minis hardly have any, you know?
See if I
Oh, that's really
can.
good.
So
I
you can
like
see
that
the
feature.
lines. You can see the lines, but like for like for like playing OSR or D&D,
Uh,
just putting that to be your guy.
Just
The
comes
lines, yeah,
across like a bit of texture, to be honest with you. It doesn't look like
it,
bad
it,
per se. Like, it just looks like
it's
texture.
yeah, and well on the shield it really is where it sort of shows the most because it maybe if I had it a different
Hmm.
orientation, but like I could make it look like it's a wood shield or something like that. But it's
uh-huh.
I can't. It's sort of like yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and does make it a little harder to paint, but some still gets in there.
I mean,
But like
I would say that I'm a beginner anyway, because even though I've been at this for a few years, for the first couple of years, I think I painted like maybe 10, 15 minis in the first year, 20 in the second. I'm only starting to really gather a bit of
this guy here,
momentum, you
this
know?
is this one can't actually can't really see the lines very much. Sorry, let's see here. He's
I
Oh
like it.
yeah. Is that like a cyber glove?
No, this is the wizard. He's got a book in his hand and a little scroll
Oh,
pouch.
okay.
Okay.
You can see, I guess you can see the lines there on his leg.
Oh,
Let's
tiny
see
bit.
here.
It's not too bad though. That's all right.
The paint job sucks.
I mean, from
but
3 feet away.
yeah,
You know,
Right. I
on the
mean,
table.
if a complete, noob or someone who doesn't know anything about the hobby sees it, they're gonna go, "Wow!"
yeah,
You know.
Well, those are the people I judge my hobby stuff by. Because if I judged it by the people who are really good at this, I would never be happy. And I was like that for a long time. Whereas now I'm like, would this impress my 17-year-old self or my 15-year-old self? If yes, then, probably good enough.
There you go.
this one was like one of the first ones I've done for a 5e game. I think I gotta block the background. I think what's his name's trick to do that.
All right.
So that's really
That
bad.
looks
But
kind of
I
He-Man.
No.
yeah. So I took a piece.
I
I
was
took a
thinking
paper.
more like Florida Man, but okay.
Yeah, and I put a paper clip in there for his sword because that broke
Yeah. Why
immediately.
not?
But yeah, that's like I went from that to the last one you showed. That I
Uh-huh.
showed.
Yeah, you're
Oh, that's
progressing.
actually a little better.
But it
Yeah.
looks like you're picking up you're
You're progressing.
picking up the dry brushing technique, the
Yeah.
washes.
Yeah.
You get the three basic pillars.
Yeah, I made the base with like a
Block
3D.
block painting,
Uh,
um, dry brush, ink, wash, whatever you want to call it. Um,
Yeah.
Let's see here.
that,
I'm
that's
sorry.
so much more than most people even are aware of. They don't. They have no idea.
So I
It
made
only
this
takes
base.
a little bit of effort to be in the top 50% of painters worldwide.
One
Which
thing
is what I say.
yeah.
I'm in the top 50% worldwide. I know it.
The I'm still in the bottom 20. This guy the base I got some air dry clay and
Okay.
Yeah.
I 3D printed a roller and that
Oh, okay.
made that texture
Nice.
on there. So
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about buying one. Damn it!
I
You can just make one.
I made a roller by gluing sticks onto a cylinder of wood, and it works good
Yeah.
for some things, but it's not like I can't make cobblestone or brick patterns. Those things are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I know that I would never really use them that much.
Well, we were talking
Here,
about
let me show you this
Millicut the
tool.
other day, right? On
I bought this
bases.
tool 5 years ago. I've used it once. It was great. It was absolutely freaking great when I used it. Never used it again. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these.
Oh, okay, like a leaf punch.
It's a leaf punch.
Yeah.
And I got some
Cool.
construction paper, but what worked even better was actual leaves. I would get
Yeah.
like red or orange leaves.
Yeah.
What this does is it basically cuts out, George, leaves out of like tiny little leaves like this size.
for like out of paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just scatter them all
Bit of
over
wood
your
elf on
diorama or whatever. And
Oh, that's cool.
on your treatment.
it
on
is.
your
It's
treatment
very, very
base.
cool. And this one's actually got like several different shapes. They're not all identical. Okay. And they pop out here and you just slide the paper or the leaf in there and just ka-dunk, 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 and just keep chopping out as many as you can until you get a bag of them, or a cup full or whatever you're looking for. And then you just sprinkle them on your dioramas, to make it look like it's fall. There's like leaves on the ground. It looked really cool, but that was when we were downstairs at the dinner table doing stuff. It's been 5 years since I've used it, but I'm thinking getting ready to do some Halloween and vampires and things like that. Maybe I'll throw some on the Dracula's carriage base, because the base is gonna have to be like this big to put the carriage on there. And I'm like, well, I don't have a static grass applicator. Maybe I'll get one of those, but maybe I'll also drop some leaves down here and there just to spruce it up, make it look a little more, fall-ish. But some of those
Yeah,
little tools,
I want squirrel static grass applicator for sure. I don't want the paints. I don't want the paint shaker because for me, anything that uses up another PowerPoint is just annoying. But
Mhm.
you know,
it will definitely take your minis. But I mean, that's like,
Static
that's like
grass applicator.
absolutely like super next level, for your bases, where the little strands of grass stand up straight. That's freaking just.
Mm. My daughter wants to make a diorama next, but she has to finish
nice.
another project before she gets to start it.
Encourage that as much as you can, because uh, you've only got till about the age 12 to 14 before that will just
Yeah.
it's over. It's just like
Yeah,
that fast. It'll be over, and it's time to make a new kid, unless
Yeah.
you're already
school
working on that,
school takes
and then
over. School takes over, then work and relationships, and then like years later, you're like, I'm 35 and I want to learn everything I can about the Franco-Prussian War for some bizarre reason. you know,
Mm.
or a lot of people come back to D&D as well when they have kids and
Yep,
stuff. So
Yeah.
like you, right, George? Or was it a
The
little
kids,
bit before?
I did try to run stuff with them, but they're just tough to. They just have their own ways of. The one that were a little too young when I started. Restarted, I guess you can say. Um, Tried to run them through like a 3.5 D&D starters kit that I had, and that was fun but I think they were still too young at the time. And then I think like I played it when I was a kid, when I was like in my teens and stuff, and then
Uh-huh.
I hung out mostly with my cousins who were just into like partying, drinking, clubbing, stuff like that.
Yep.
So like there weren't D&D people. There were some D&D people in my college that I went to, but I just never ended because I didn't hang out with my friends from college. I hung out with my cousins. So and I also had a job with people I was a waiter at the time or something, and they weren't D&D people either. So didn't have a game since my like high school days, early high school days, like, and even later in high school, because I moved high schools later on, so I didn't even know anybody at that point. So yeah, I basically stopped like like freshman year somewhere, and then been always following it as a hobby, and then hearing stuff when YouTube came out and started. That's one of the first kind of videos I would find, things like that. Found some actual play podcasts that I really enjoyed. Some of them are around, some of them aren't around. Some of them are around, but not really the same podcast anymore.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, there was one of my favorite ones, and I think some people have seen it. And I probably said it 100 times already, but was a Happy Jack's RPG, and but I think the guy got old and he's sick and he couldn't do it anymore. So the other people, but they're not. It's not the same. Like that's the first time I learned about Traveler and other games. I'm like, oh, there's other games in D&D. No, actually, no. I learned about other games. There was one guy in college. He was talking about this game called Palladium, and he's like, you could parry and do these other things. And I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. I want to be a changeling, or
Hmm.
different things that you could be in it.
It
Um,
we did the same thing. We went from D&D to Palladium. I mean, we played some Traveler, but Palladium was the next big like full migration, and
yeah.
that was like 15 years. But
it seems
yeah,
like people have a real love-hate with Palladium. Is that just because of the way everything's kind of laid out, or across like a lot of different books? Or...
here's the thing: when it comes to like character classes or professions or whatever you want to call them, it does it great. Because the way I see it, it's really one of the best games out there for a lot of things.
Mhm.
Because skills are done in percentages. Your stats are like 3d6, or whatever. they're pretty standard. Everything is good. But once you get into combat, the game just grinds to a halt because they're like 6 second melee rounds. I want to say, maybe they're 10
Right.
or 15, whatever. But everybody gets to do like you know between 4 and 24 actions in 6 seconds. And
Right.
that's like you were saying, parry, block, dodge, roll with the punch, all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
crap
yeah.
that you've got to just stagger and work, and it's just like, oh,
Does
I don't
that
want to do that.
does that lend a kind of martial arts feel to melee or
Yes, yes, it's
okay,
very,
right.
very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Kung Fu Theater, Jackie Chan,
Yeah,
all that kind of crazy, you know,
yeah.
stuff. And then there's all these free actions that if you get to a certain level, you get this thing you can do for free. Every time this guy does this thing, you get to do it right back or whatever.
Right,
And then it's just
right.
like, what would normally
Yeah,
be like
it's
a 5 minute combat turns into a 2 session combat. We'll finish this combat when we come back next week. Like,
it's funny
so,
because like I was originally interested in like Pathfinder because I was like, oh, there's a lot of options. You could kind of just build whatever you want in this. But then I watch people play and like the combats are so they take a long time to resolve, like
uh-huh.
um, I
Not
mean
a
that's
fan.
because of the detail, presumably. But yeah, I
I
was
mean,
just
if
like
any combat takes longer than it takes to watch the sword fight and the Princess Bride, I'm probably going to get bored.
well, I think a lot of games don't really they're a bit all over the place. Like some games will tell you 1 inch represents this many paces or this many feet, or 1 round of play represents 15 minutes in real life, or 5 minutes in real life, or half an hour in real life. But some of them just kind of leave it to you to kind of guess, right?
Hmm.
So I don't know.
No, not no. I think most of the games that I'm familiar with, like when it comes to combat rounds, it's a very finite period of time and it's very small, but then it goes into slow motion because all the players, want to do their thing and the monsters do their things, and
Right.
what should be, like roll a die and pick up a piece because it's dead, is not. It's not like that. It's like,
Yeah.
like super slow mo Matrix mode, and
Or
I get it. It's great, when it's used to your benefit, so your character doesn't die. But
Well, even
it's it's, it's annoying.
if you've ever been in a real fight, like if you're not
Blink
a
and it's over.
trained if you're not a trained person, like you're not really making a very calculated response to what's happening. A lot of the time you're just kind of going on autopilot. So yeah, it's
It
interesting.
can it,
I
it
don't
can
know.
very much be that way. Real
Yeah.
real quick, I want to ask Squirrel. No to all. Apply the static grass before putting the miniature on the base. Why?
That sounds crazy to me, but I'm sure he's got a good reason.
I'm sure it has
'Cause-
something to do with the literal static electricity that's causing the grass to stand up. But it then sounds like you then take the miniature and mash down like they're stepping on the grass. And I would rather, have a more secure contact point from the bottom of the foot to the base or the slot of base into the base or what have you.
It's
It
the
almost to
reason
me,
why I It's
could
a
you
reason
pluck?
why I
Does it
don't
freeze you?
mind puddle bases, because there's a good connection with the base. But,
waiting on you, Squirrel. You out there? If not, we'll get back to it later. Um,
Oh, he also listened to Happy Jacks.
mhm.
you know what might be a good game for your kids to get into, George, would be Hero Quest.
Hero Quest. Yes. I've been
Yeah.
I've been showing I showed my daughters the this the Bard videos on the best game ever, Hero Quest. The best thing about Hero Quest is the Barbarian. The best
Yeah,
thing
I'm
about
a
Hero
big
Quest
fan.
is
I'm a
I
big
should
fan.
maybe yeah, that would be like a more self-contained, I guess. It's
Uh-huh.
Well, you can also homebrew pretty easily with it as well, and like
yeah,
um, you can change the power scaling in it a little bit up or down without it breaking. Like it's such a simple game; it can be changed
Mhm.
without breaking it drastically. You
Mhm.
have to house rule some things sometimes because it's an
yeah.
old game, really. But like,
My
I
oldest would
personally
probably go
I
for
love
it.
it. I think it's great.
My
Yeah.
youngest right now, the one that's actually doing like the mini painting, she's not as
Mhm.
much into the role playing. She likes our 5e game. We're doing a 5e game now with her friend and their parent and her parents.
Mhm.
But it's kind of like it's hard to schedule, so like it's like every month or so we end up
Yeah.
playing. So I ended up becoming the GM. So and like I'm like ready to change. I'm like tired of 5e and Eberron. I want to change it to something else, but we played about 3 or 4 sessions so far, and
Yeah, Eberron's a weird setting because like it has a lot of elements that could make it really cool, but I think they've just
mm,
tried to make it everything to everyone and like a
yeah,
very kind of sparkling kind of world
yeah,
rather than like I mean to me the idea of like this kind of city run by mages and like it's kind of clockwork punk or whatever you call it like that's
yeah,
kind of cool, right? But like they've made it sort of like it's just downtown
yeah,
Seattle. There's the coffee shop. There's the bookshop.
yeah.
There's
There's
some
yeah,
orcs doing a poetry slam.
yeah. Every time like
You know.
I find a new lore thing about it, it's like oh, there's another thing that's like okay, now they're adding this in, now they're adding this in,
Mm,
yeah, and yeah, it is.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like if you just limit it, if it was more limited, it would be a lot better.
they
But
made it a bit
I
more
do
like
like
smoky and Victorian. Like
yeah.
it would be kind of cool. I think.
The yeah one thing one of the reasons I wanted was my older daughter wanted something steampunky,
Hmm.
and the parents of my daughter's friend, they like the show Arcane. I've never watched it, but I kind of got an impression from
Never
it.
heard of it.
It's on Netflix. It looks pretty good. Yeah, probably Jackie's seen it. You'll have to ask him. It looks kind of like
Probably
it's like
not,
one of
to
the.
be
It's
honest.
like a. It looks like a kind of an arcane punk world where like there's magic
Hmm.
and machines that are run on magic, and so there's a sort of the overbearing sort of government there or whatever, and there's these young revolutionaries trying to overthrow things, I guess, or something like that.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that kind of like, okay, well, they want 5e, one wants steampunk, they like arcane. All right, it's Eberron. It's like,
Sure.
Hmm.
I think a lot of the D&D settings that are kind of like people are a bit tired of or like maybe a bit more down on, they just need to be presented in the right way. You know what I mean? Or like zhuzhed up a little bit in some ways. And like
yeah,
Could be.
a lot of it is taking elements out rather than adding more stuff in, giving
yeah,
it a bit more contour, giving it a bit more of a feel. Like,
yeah,
you know, if everything's there, then it's just, the D&D miniature catalog, isn't it? Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah, like one setting should be kind of like a high fantasy. One setting should be sword and sandals. One setting should be maybe like steampunk, arcane punk, or whatever. One setting should be maybe kind of a Victorian noir.
I mean, one thing that I
Arabian
always liked about,
Nights, King Arthur.
yeah. One thing I always liked about the Empire in Warhammer is that they're a little bit mixing the centuries. Like
Mm,
Mhm.
they're kind of Renaissance, but they've got kind of some 19 like sort of industrial age technology.
yeah,
Culturally they're a little bit more pre-modern, but yeah,
Like the
like
steam
I think
tank and the
yeah,
and
like
the
they're kind of
what was it?
in the Renaissance, but they're having their industrial revolution then. basically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
What was that?
Vampire
Was it the
pirates.
organ gun? I think it was. They had one gun back in the day that was like very high tech, a ballista or a mini catapult, but it was like I want to say that it was like a predecessor to the Gatling gun.
Yeah. Like I know the dwarves had their organ gun. I can't remember what the Hellblaster. That's what it was. The Hellblaster volley gun.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I had all that crap, and it was a lot of fun, but like a lot of things from that era, if your friends didn't like invest as much as you did, not just in time, but money and prep, it's just
Yeah.
just very
Well,
unsatisfying
our
to
Warhammer
engage.
games our Warhammer games were great because we were little kids and we couldn't afford anything. So we would just bring 2 units each, you know,
Mm.
and have like a mass, 3 aside kind of situation, you know. But we were probably playing it wrong anyway, you know. But which is part of the joy, I think, in some ways.
Squirrel says the applicator has to be very close to the surface. I think I'm going to need a demonstration, Squirrel. If you're busy, we can take care of it Monday, or you can make a little short video. Because like I said, I remember OK Miniatures when she was doing it, but she never was really good about like getting tight with the camera. Because I want to see the grass go from this to like standing straight up to understand exactly what's going on. Because in my brain, I'm thinking a bunch of different ways that's working with the static electricity, etc. Like for the life of me, I can't figure out how you get the glue to not get in the wrong places.
On the left of me.
Unless you've got to use like a completely different kind of glue or something.
Getting lazy and using the rattle can.
Nothing wrong with rattle cans.
I'm just going to give him a bit of a dusting of like a kind of bone white, and then I'll dry brush the white on tomorrow.
I used my rattle can today to spray paint those plastic Easter eggs that you get for candies and stuff, because the chickens have decided to not lay in their nesting boxes, and I have to kind of stick my hand deep into their coop to get a poop covered coop.
That's no good.
Could be worse.
Are you like making fake eggs to get them to make eggs?
Yeah, it's to get them to sit in the same spot. They've decided, I don't know what's going on. They don't like the nesting box right now. I don't know what happened. They were sitting in it all winter. It might be too. I don't think it's too hot, because I imagine it being hotter in the other part because they keep the nesting box slightly open. Maybe they don't like that. But it's like, yeah, they're just not going in the nesting box and all that. And I think it might be just one of them, and then the other one sees, oh, they're laying over there. They always want to. You could give them 2 nesting boxes. They'll just fight over the same spot. But right now, for some reason, they're just laying in the middle there. Probably somebody's. Yeah, one was laying them underneath a thing and lost like 6 eggs because it's like they've been there God knows how long. And you hear a weird noise. I'm like, what the hell's going on in that? And then you go look. It's like somebody's laying an egg and somebody's waiting for them to finish so they can lay an egg. It's like
they've got a lot of they've got a lot of character and personality.
Yeah.
Hens.
Yeah.
They're kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, we have these old one. We have 2 old ones. Well, they're kind of old, but they're still laying, I think. Well, especially one of them is definitely laying. The other one, She's kind of on and off, but one of the old ones is like the queen, and she is just like she doesn't take nothing from nobody. Stares them down like
Hmm.
just peck somebody in the face. Everyone's terrified of her, even though probably the younger ones could probably kick her ass. It's a lot of it's surprising how aggressive the bird is, and yeah, it's weird. Like it's like okay, it could be a bigger bird, but if it's not an aggressive bird, they're gonna be like they're gonna get pecked all day.
Yeah.
The honestly, this last batch, this is the first time I ever seen um the younger ones, like the new ones coming into the flock, kind of like show that they're not like gonna be pushed around. Like I remember like one chick, it was almost like a prison scene. Like the one usually, and it's usually the lower ones go after the new ones. It's always it's kind of like heartbreaking because like that was the one in the last batch that was getting picked on by the previous batch. So and then so the lower ones go up to this one, and it was like so this we had this Buff Orpington, kind of like a kind of a mustardy color, chubby little hen, and she she just goes right up to the white one, and the white one just kind of stares her down like yeah. I'm just gonna give her a stare, like it was like something out of like a prison scene. It's like you ain't tough.
You look mighty good in them jeans, boy.
Yeah. But yeah, the current queen, she's still queen, although she's one of the old ones. She actually, we had this white one, Leghorn, and she was like we called her Sunshine, but then like later on, she was not a breath of sunshine to these other chickens. She was actually really cool because she was like interested in people and very curious. But like to the other hens, she was always pecking. Very nervous bird. Like just like somebody gets close to her, she peck them. Somebody gets
So
close to her,
like a Nurse Ratchet.
yeah, it's crazy. And then like one day, I guess this black one is she's just like got sick of it getting pecked by her. I saw her just jump up and her breed has actually pretty good flying muscles. So as a flyer, she can fly like 6 feet horizontally. I've seen her like she's like pretty good relative to the other ones. She jumps on her from like across the way or something and just started like biting on her neck. I literally had to like throw something at them to break them up. Thought she was gonna kill her. So after that, I guess she was the top hen.
Top dog, huh?
Static
It's
grass
like
boy.
it's
Squirrel,
like
you're just making products up now.
what was that?
That's not a real thing, surely.
So it's like the Sean Penn movie where he's like Bad Boys, where he has to like beat up the tough guys, just to make his place, getting the Coke cans and then put them in his sleeping bag.
Okay.
Beats up the guy from what you call it? God, he's in a lot of movies. He beats up the Kurgan from that actor.
Clancy Brown.
Yeah, Clancy Brown.
I was thinking of Full Metal Jacket when Vincent D'Onofrio is going through boot camp.
Oh gosh. Oh,
I haven't seen that movie in so long. Yeah.
Just remember that was considered comically overweight in the 1970s.
Who was the main character? Was it Matthew Modine?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Bo from Bo Paints Minis. It's the same guy. Down to the glasses.
Matthew Modine.
Wasn't he also in Cutthroat Island?
I haven't
Pretty
seen
sure
that.
he was. That is a fantastic movie. Everybody says it sucks. It's a cheesy movie. No, it is a great modern pirate movie that isn't one of the Disney Johnny Depp freaking just no. It's like real pirates. I mean, not real, but no fantasy nonsense in it. It's like a pirate movie.
Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp
without
would be very highly regarded if he didn't fall for like going back and doing 2 and 3, and they're making like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
or playing Tonto in the Lone Ranger, or playing. I'm like, dude, you can't play everybody, okay? Just no. Oh, you
Yeah,
can't even speak English anymore, so just I can't stand that guy. He's
yeah.
such a junkie.
Who's to say he didn't do the poo? Who's to say he didn't do that poo in that bed?
No.
My dog stepped on a
I read
bee.
that story and I was like, I can't fix her.
No. God, that trial was hilarious. It was just like, yeah, one of the YouTube channels I follow, I was like, called a lot of lawyer, like, what's his name? Gosh, at the time he kind of had
I
some
like how she
problems.
was like openly doing drugs in the courtroom and like hiding it really badly.
Yeah, that was
Honestly,
those two deserved each other. That's all that needs to be said.
honestly, don't know what you're talking about. I didn't really pay any attention to the case.
it was bizarre. Like it was just I'm watching some of the stuff. Nick Recato, that's what I would watch. Unfortunately, he's
I used
kind of
to
had
watch him.
some. He's had some drug problems from what it looks like. Sounds like he's off of it now finally, but yeah, he almost lost his whole family for that. Yeah, don't do drugs, kids. Just to lose your family.
No, definitely stay in school.
Yeah, but yeah, he was.
Don't do class A's at any rate. It's like probably above your pay grade.
So yeah, that was just watching the trial and stuff. It was just hilarious. All the commentary. Is that squirrel? No, that's a set. Everybody all right?
Oh yeah. I just had to do something.
Okay, it's my show now. We'll talk about Traveler all day.
I love Traveler.
I got my
Traveler
daughter.
was Traveler was probably the second full-fledged game that I owned. After that, I picked up like Gamma World and Boot Hill and Top Secret, but Traveler was just so perfectly simple. Um,
Yeah, I think that's what I liked about it. It's like it made sense to me. Like I didn't have to do like a
thanks,
CR.
Squirrel.
I just had to know that 7 because my crazy cousins, they used to like to gamble, so I'd go to like Atlantic City with them all the time. So I had to learn how to play
It's like playing
blackjack.
craps.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just craps. I'm like, oh, this is craps. This is great. That's all. I understand craps. So yeah,
This
it's
is
like, oh
craps.
yes,
This is craps with extra steps.
yeah, pass, go. That's all.
Well, no, I mean
Boxcars.
adding your skill bonus, because in the beginning you didn't
Yeah,
get a stat bonus. There was no stat bonus that came later.
yeah,
In the beginning, it was just add your skill. That's it,
yeah,
and
uh,
beat 7 or 8 or whatever it was.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and later,
and if you figure for something hard, it was just like, okay, it's really hard. It's like a 9 or a 10. If it's like, or you got to do boon
oh,
dice or
excuse me,
takeaway dice,
and
Bane dice and boon dice. I think that's what were the other things.
that stuff that those mechanics are new, but
Yeah, yeah,
everything they added in the Mongoose Traveler, it all works. Nothing takes away from anything.
yeah.
They even did character generation a little bit better,
Hmm.
with a little more granular, which I liked because I grew up playing Mercenary and High Guard, where each of your terms of service were 4 individual uh, years, and you found out what you did each year,
Yeah,
which it'd take longer, but you got more skills. You had more chances to roll some sort of an award, or some sort of
yeah,
commission, or something along the your term. There were more opportunities for good things to happen.
Yeah.
Also, more opportunities to get dead. But you know,
The some of the videos I've been binging have been old Traveler, and it's like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, everybody's drafted now. It's like, or something. That was part of, like, they were doing like the Fourth Imperium War, Fifth Imperium War, or something. But
mhm,
the no, the but I think the last one I watched was what's his name, the Dungeon Delver. He did a Traveler one a few years ago, and I surprised that came up. And that was they did that the old way, and
mhm,
it was, and certain careers were harder to
mhm.
pass than other
Yeah,
to survive. Like
well,
scouts were like,
absolutely.
the guy goes like, yeah, and if you really don't like the stats you rolled, you can just go scouts and play recklessly. so
Mhm.
so I got my daughter to play to start a game, but the youngest doesn't want to play it. She doesn't really like sci-fi. So, and she got really, had her make a character, and I think the oldest was kind of, she understood it better, and but
Mhm.
the younger didn't. She's very smart, the younger, but the thing is like, she's still pretty young, so we forget that with her. So it's like sometimes you're like, oh, why isn't she getting this? But you realize she's 12, not as old as her. In some ways, she can
Right,
be smarter than and more aware than most kids her age. But then, like, other things, it's just like, oh, okay, she's,
right. And, and,
yeah,
and when you, because with like, with Traveler, you know, your character is aging fast and going through some pretty big milestones
yeah,
of of development, and they have no freaking frame of reference.
yeah,
They can
and she,
imagine what it's like to go into high school or maybe
mhm,
even to college, but after that, forget it. They have no clue what it's going to be like. You know, uh,
yeah.
basic training and your
Roll
MOS.
roll on the aging table at 34. What? Yes, roll on the aging table at 34. It's actually pretty accurate.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like most people are okay, but one in,
You gain
there's
you
there's
gain
a,
wisdom, but you lose intelligence.
yeah,
I
you
thought that was always funny because I used to have, and I still do have all those Star Wars cards that came in the the bubblegum wax paper packs. And I remember like Luke was like 21 or 22 in the first movie, and Han Solo was 34, which meant by the end of Return of the Jedi, he was still probably 34. And I remember in Traveler that at 34, you start making your aging rolls, and that's why Han Solo never got any older because they didn't want him to have to start making aging rolls in the movies.
I
yeah,
can't believe they killed him off and gave him a wayward son. I was like, come on, man. What's
yeah.
this? What
Mhm.
is
It,
this?
it's
I,
somebody.
I,
Why
I,
you
I,
bring
I
this to
literally
me?
there are only two things in the three movies that came out, that I hear came out after Return of the Jedi. You know, that red lightsaber with the cross hilt that sparked and kind of
Mhm.
had like a pissed off attitude. You could tell that the sword was pissed. Why did you give me to this loser with the big schnoz? Why do I have to be his
I think
sword?
I think the 1970s knockoff of Star Wars that was made in Turkey that used like all the cutscenes from the aerial combats spliced with some very strange Turkish science fantasy story is probably better than some of those movies. At least it's fun, and there's some like crazy props, big foam swords, and the whole
Yeah,
lot.
there was an Italian one I saw recently, and not like all of it, just clips of it, and I'm like, oh, and it was
Hmm.
like the stormtroopers were like, had like skulls. They were like skulls, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and I'm like, that's what the stormtroopers are. They're like skulls. They just they just went literal with it. But like, it just kind of really gave me an appreciation for like the costume design in that.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. All the original three, Star Wars Empire Return. Jackie and I were just watching them again recently, and just blown away with. all of the practical effects. But then, being an old Star Wars fan, and I used to have this set of prints from Empire Strikes Back. There were these really long, like 2 foot long prints. They were like really wide, but only about a foot tall prints. So like these wide angle shots that Ralph McQuarrie, hand painted for different scenes. And I can remember seeing in Empire Strikes Back, um, his artwork, green screened in the background for various things. I'm like, oh my god, that's just a painting. That's just a painting. Back as a kid, I would have never had that eye to see it. But like in Bespin, there's this scene where they're running, and they're just running across a green screen, and it's just one of Ralph McQuarrie's paintings in the background. I'm just like,
But
ah,
they also lit the stuff really well. Like,
mhm.
when you're dealing with like scale models, if you cast the
Oh
wrong light
yeah,
on it, they'll
oh
look
oh,
small, right? Like
Yeah.
it'll look like a little FX kit.
mhm.
Yeah.
So,
And it was
you know,
blue
they had a
screen, which
hand
is
on those things.
Hoth was perfect. It was perfect. Everything about it. It you know, it's funny too because like I absolutely detest snow and the cold, and I would just be like, yeah, I'm joining the Empire. I'm not going in. I'm not going to Hoth, guys. Sorry, just no. I'll stay here on
Yeah, I
Tatooine.
mean,
You know,
we were talking about it the other day. It is one of the perfect kind of sci-fi battles, probably the best sci-fi battle in
when it
cinematic
comes to like depicting like a
history.
war, you know,
Yeah,
it's other than the Death Star scene in the first movie and Hoth. Those were the two. Those were the Star Wars. You get the
well,
those little
it's
Yavin,
reasonably sophisticated as well. Because like, what are they doing at the start? They're trying to recover like 2 of their best pilots who are doing like scouting missions, right? Like, you
mm-hmm.
know. So like, there's a little bit. It was a bit more sophisticated. Like, I watched it on TV the other week. It was just being like played on repeat, and I was like, oh, this is quite fortuitous. I'll watch this. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this is great. Like, this is actually really well done. I think it's probably the most mature movie out of the 3 in a way as well. Like,
Well,
um,
I mean, think about how that movie ends. I mean, that
mhm.
was a hell of a gut punch, the way that movie ended for a
Yeah,
lot of people. Star Wars ends
yeah,
like a perfect movie. Good guys win. The end. Empire
yeah.
Strikes Back is like no, 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 no. We know we have you. We know we've got you by the short hairs. We'll see you in 2 years. Have fun waiting around for the conclusion of
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
We just dropped some heavy shit
yeah.
in your lap for you fanboys and girls, and now you're gonna have to struggle with the fact that Luke, Vader is Luke's father or not, for 2 years, and that was just brutal as a kid. Just brutal. I had read the paperback book that I got from Albertsons, the grocery store, and I read it before we went to the drive-in. And I'm like, no, 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 it can't be. I mean, I literally like threw the book down when Vader said, "I'm your father." And it's like, oh no, this sucks.
some of the
Like 12 or something. And it's
some of
like,
the comic books were quite good as well. Like, some of the
oh yeah,
comics and the novel, some of the comics and the novels were quite good. I was never huge into Star Wars, but like I always say, like every Star Wars tabletop game I see looks awesome. Like, it just looks really fun. Like,
hmm
I asked for Battle for Hoth, which is like the memoir 44 with the Star Wars skin, for my birthday. So we'll see what happens. Pretty sure
does
I'll get it.
like what kind of pieces does it have?
It has like little plastic walkers in it, and like little clusters of troops on like hexagonal bases, but they're kind of ogre sized. Like this, they're smaller
Okay,
than
okay.
BattleTech. Bit smaller than BattleTech, more like a Risk piece. Like, not huge, but like they
Okay.
are pretty well made, and they've got like the little assassin droids, those like scary drone things that used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I'm like, how do you outrun one of those? Like,
I was
holy
right
heck.
there with you, man. It was that and the droid in the Death Star, that hover ball with the freaking syringe.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
just so well done. I mean, just it comes in, it's got the needle sticking out, and they, they could have. I mean, in the Star Wars universe, it should look nothing like an Earth-like syringe. You know, it could have just been a freaking, you know, anything. But the way they did it by using an actual Earth glass like syringe and needle, with the little lines on it showing you the dosage, just like was genius. To really let everybody know that she's just about to get dosed with some sodium pentothal, and she's just going to spill the beans. She didn't, but for that one brief moment, you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean, right?
Well, it's young Carrie Fisher, so it probably just had like a West Coast cooler in it or something.
Right. It's probably, she wasn't going to talk anyways. It's Carrie Fisher. Pour one out for Carrie.
She was great. She had a lot of life in her, man. But
Mhm.
you know, you will live long enough to see stuff like that, right? Now,
She had some tragedies in there that I don't know how she got over, but she did. That's why we loved
Yeah.
her.
yeah. Well, being the child of Tony Curtis can't have been easy either.
Yeah, right. That had to be,
He's a bit of a wild man. So this is with a bleached bone, kind of as metal.
That looks good. That looks good.
Just over the top and front, the backs are quite dark, and I'm going to dry brush white over this, I think, or sponge on white over this tomorrow when it's like fully cured. But yeah, they're nice little figures, nice and simple to put together. Got some with the C-axe there,
Mm-hmm.
knife guy, and there's separate shields, but I'm going to do them. I'm going to actually just mount the sprue and spray it.
Okay.
Because the front is not so ornate that there'll be a lot of mold lineage, or they don't have like complicated rims. So I'm going to spray them brown on one side and red on the other. I just touch up the red, I think. But yeah, it's going okay. Getting there. I'm trying to work in bigger batches because like I always just paint like 2 or 3 minis, and I'm like, oh, this is so difficult. Oh my god, I'm so tired and bored. This is so hard. My life is so complicated. I'm gonna write 4 hours of goth poetry about my feelings. And then I wake up the next day and I'm like, all right, now to paint the weapons.
Yeah, I'm kind of running out of stuff to paint on my desk. I mean, without breaking open some like new project. But I got something coming in tomorrow.
What a great time for you to order some 6mm.
I'm telling you, man. There's, it's.
I'm gonna get some. I've already got like 12 guys on my desk here, and I'm like, all right, I can't believe I have to paint like
With the dungeon dwellers that's supposed to come in tomorrow. I will be painting a lot of stuff I've done a million times, giant rats and orcs or troglodytes or stuff like that. But there's a few. There's a dragon. There's a carrion crawler, a beholder. There's a bunch of stuff, but it all goes right back into a very tight box. So I know that I've once I start it, I got to finish it all and then put it back into the carrying case or whatever it comes in. And
there's one of the Dungeon Dweller book boxes on eBay, right? but it's like
Mhm.
$70. I'm like, I'm not paying $70 for like
Yeah, that's
the
what I was
phone.
saying. It's like a box of six figures, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy
I'm like,
priced. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
it's
The
it's a bit
Kickstarter was
expensive.
on eBay. Someone had already received the Kickstarter and just put it on eBay. It's like
Yeah,
$275 for all that. What's on eBay right
yeah. I
now? That
think
that particular Kickstarter. I don't recommend anybody grabbing it because it'll come down. They'll put it out. Reaper will put it out as a regular, cheaper thing. That same exact Kickstarter that show that schmo is selling for $275. I paid 99, and that was the highest tier you could go on the Kickstarter. Three
you
hardcover
tell him,
books,
Shadow. You tell him. I'm
three
actually
hardcover
like,
books, 20 something, or more minis, set of dice, tokens, some other shit. I'm kind of bummed I didn't get the screen or a T-shirt. I do have an old Heritage T-shirt that says Dungeon Dwellers on it, but it's like an XL, and it's just too
well, they
big for
did a
me if I
good
wore
job.
it.
They did a good job of bringing back those heroes and henchmen, like remastering
Mhm.
it and whatnot. But I'm not joking when I say you tell them, because like, okay, yeah, costs have gone up a bit, and like, inflation is still a bit of a thing, but holy moly, like it feels like every game store, even Amazon, it's like pushing the prices up like to a
Yeah.
level where I'm like, it used to be I could get sort of 2 or 3 boxes of minis a month without it really even touching the sides. You know what I mean? Now I'm
Yep.
like, have to be a little bit more considered about it. And I'm like, man, like stuff that costs 50 or $60 is now 70 or 80. And, you
Yeah,
do the math on
and
that.
those like for you, like those Dungeon Dweller box set that Reaper has, they're $30 US, and I'm
Yeah,
still saying $30 is too much. Thirty
yeah,
bucks
yeah.
for six plastic
Well, they
orcs,
want like they want 70.
blow me.
They want 70, and I'm really only buying it. If I'm buying it, I'm buying it for like the rats. I've never used null or, but like I play it pretty straight. I'm just like orcs, undead, elves, and dwarves. Like the big four is
Mhm.
usually what I structure things around. So maybe it's the Lord of the Rings influence or the Warhammer influence, but I kind of always start there with my miniature purchases. So yeah, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, the guy's
But that was
asking
always,
275, free shipping. Um,
yeah, that the
it's
whole
like,
scalping thing. I'm like, look, I know people have got to make a living, but that's worse than any kind of. It's like you just kind of. We had this thing where Pokemon has come back, right? I don't know anything about Pokemon. My little brother was
yeah.
into it. I was kind of a couple of years too old, but he was like super into it for like 5 minutes. But I
Mhm.
remember, just a couple of weeks ago, the cards were like relaunched or something, and it was all dudes in hoodies buying them up. Like little kids couldn't get any, and I'm kind of like, is this really where we want to be? You know what I mean? Like, I
Well,
see the
to
same
be
thing with
honest,
Lego, like adults buying up all the Lego and like it being really expensive as a consequence. So
especially when you know that like the adult to kid market ratio is like 5 to 1,
yeah, of course. But I mean, like when
and
they're when they're
that's
charging
not
like,
accounting for any parents buying for kids. It's for freaking grown ups going in and buying the stuff for themselves
oh
because
look,
that's what they're into.
I
Um,
got I
and
got
and
a
it, it's
few I got a few toys on the wall and stuff like that. Just a few. But I mean like like I quite like Hot Wheels, for example. But I wouldn't buy so many Hot Wheels that I drove the price of Hot Wheels up to like $600. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Hmm.
that to me is a bit crazy. You know.
It is. It's. Uh, I guess I mean like with the gamers that I hang out with, a lot of them going through like their second childhood or whatever, or
Yeah,
getting back
same.
into gaming. But it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
a more of a structured activity. I mean, I guess Pokemon was too when I was running the tournaments, for the kids, but that was so
Yeah,
that they they could play in a safe environment
yeah.
and not get ripped off, because of the ante or whatever,
Well, I
and
mean, even games like Magic, like or even just Hero Clicks, which I was looking at, it's like there are so many options
yeah,
and so
that's
many
true too. I didn't even think about that, Squirrel. I was just
competing
thinking,
things. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of like they are distorting the market a bit, but like beyond that, they well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but you go ahead. I'm just looking at I'm now looking at Frostgrave Cultist
oh,
Knights.
but
So
here's a
distracted.
Kickstarter up for auction. Someone just put up the same thing, the Kickstarter, but at an auction, and it's at $26.
That's what I was gonna say. They make these games like almost a bit too hard to get into. Like even with BattleTech, it's like there's like 5 different starter boxes. I'm like, why don't you just make one good one? Like, you know, but
Oh, that kind of, huh?
we're all
I'll
looking
be
at
kind of
prices.
bummed if that's how it shows. I thought that the miniatures came in like uh, sort of like like the way Hero Quest, they've got a little place for each miniature. It looks like it's just a box of blister packs, and
I
you got to
threw that
find your
out.
own.
I threw that out almost immediately. A plastic
Right.
mold.
Did you get the?
I
Did you
hate
find
that
that
thing.
clear plastic box I showed you?
No, I haven't actually, but I love Hero Quest so much. I thought about buying like a second copy and leaving it in the ceiling for like leaving it in the plastic for like future archaeologists to dig up. That's how much I
Um.
like it.
Well, if things go like they always do, um,
Yeah.
something like that might not be a bad investment for resale purposes. You could literally
Well,
um,
I was thinking about
res-
it. Like it'll either be worth a lot or it'll be worth nothing. Because if you look at an old Games Workshop starter from like even just a few editions of Warhammer ago, they like go up in value quite a bit if you leave them sealed. But then you
mhm.
think maybe in 20 or 30 years, like the market for these things will be mostly in the ground, you know.
Well, there's
So
that, but there's also like the possibility that you could literally regift it. One of these days
yeah.
you might have a family member that you could, or a friend or whatever. You can go, hey, happy birthday,
Well,
Merry Christmas,
I'm putting a lot of pressure on my brother to produce some nephews because I've got nieces.
right?
That part is taken care of. And I'm like, dude, get to work. You know, I'll pay for his education. you know,
Right?
but yeah, yeah. Like we just need 2 more people in our little war games club to have a proper campaign. So get going. But yeah. Oh my goodness, these Reaper. Did you see the Black Mean Knolls box set? That's pretty good. That's quite nice. Although I would argue you could probably get the North Star ones for the same. The Orcs are pretty good. The new Orcs box set they've done. They look kind of a good mix of like Tolkien and Games Workshop, like somewhere in between, which is kind of interesting. And they did a Lizardmen
Yeah.
box set as well.
My only problem is when I look at the price, then I add shipping.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, it's not cheap
I'm
here.
cheap.
It's not cheap here. I don't my thing is like at the moment there's maybe 2 or 3 more plastic model kits that I have on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, my brother's really open to playing 15 mil. Fortunately, my other wargaming opponent is open to playing 15 mil, and they're both open to 10 as well. And that just opens up a lot more options for me and makes it all a lot cheaper and takes up a lot less space and is a lot less painting. But also, I sent a friend of mine some rules, and now he really wants to play this game, and that is Fistful of Lead, which is a universal skirmish game. Like,
Yeah, you sent that one to me, didn't you?
yeah, yeah. But
The PDF.
he looked at the activation mechanics and stuff, and he was like, "Ah, I really like this game." So it uses playing cards and dice, and I'm like, "Yep." And he's like, "And there's only really one stat." I'm like, "Yep." And the condition of the model is like gonna affect that stat, which is pretty cool. Like it's nice and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a lot of skills and traits, and not all traits are positive. There's no point system, so it's just 5 to 7 figures aside. Although there is a mass combat version, which is this, which is more like 5 to 7 teams of 5 to 7 figures. Um, and yeah, it can be adapted to any period. This is the sci-fi supplement for it, Galactic Heroes, and this
It's
is
got a
the
very
aerial combat that
retro
goes with
look
it.
to it.
Oh yeah, I think the guy who does these with his publishing circle, he like Wiley is the company. He does graphic design for his day job. So, you know, like they just add more skills and traits and stuff. Like this is the horse and musket supplement. And then there's 3 for fantasy. There's this, which is like the basic kind of mud core. You could just run this as a medieval game. And then this, which adds magic and quite a lot of magic and more fantastical like elements. And then this, which is like auto generating dungeons and monsters and stuff like that for like solo and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah, really beautiful books. I think he's doing. He's got a horror one. He's got a post-apocalyptic one. It originally started as a Wild West game, and then they just kept adapting it. And because my friend is interested in it, I'm like,
Get you.
well, we can just play this one rule set and like adapt it to whatever. Like we don't have to constantly learn new systems, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
and a low
What is
model
going on
count
here?
means that we can try a bunch of stuff
What's
like
going on with
different
you?
things. So yeah, good to dig that out and not feel like I have to buy yet more books just to maybe play a game, which is something that happens a lot in this hobby. You know,
Right. I'll I have kind of a rule. Like if a game is already in its like third, fourth, fifth, seventh edition, I want no part of it. Two, all the games I really enjoyed over the years. They went first, second, and they were done. And or by when second was done, it was great. Third or fourth or fifth comes around, and it's just not as good. I can't think of too many
yeah,
games that I
I kind of
followed
agree.
throughout the editions. You know what I mean?
I kind of agree. I look at 40K and I'm like, how did it take 11 editions for you to perfect your game? When I mean, the second edition 40k, it's still got some of those old RPG elements of Rogue Trader. I like it. It's got a lot of personality, and you know, it's
Mhm.
fun and silly, and like
and
you don't
and,
need
and
more.
they knew, or at least I get a feeling like they they put the first one out and they're like, okay, this is what we need to do to fix it, and we
Hmm.
should be good to go, right?
Hmm.
And then you know they do that, and then when they for whatever reason they're like, well, that worked. Why don't we just do it again? And I'm like, sorry,
Well, the
that just sounds
transition
like
to
kind of
the transition
laziness
to the
and the old cash grab, and well, we've already got you,
the
got you
transition
hooked.
to third edition was definitely like turned it into a real war game, but I don't think that that was actually an improvement. Like I think that that is kind of part of the problem because all of a sudden you needed twice as many figures. You know, nothing had a movement stat anymore. A lot of the more exotic weapons were gone, and that was kind of part of the fun. You know, like um, and all the factions became distinctive. Like they didn't share tech as much, which kind of
Hmm.
I don't know. I think it kind of took some of the
Yeah,
immersion away.
the more they streamlined it, the less I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked their games when everything was for lack of a better word, kind of unique. They all had their own movement, like you said, their own shooting range, their own combat numbers, hand to hand, or that sort of thing,
yeah,
and you had to really know your opponents as opposed to, oh, it's a ground assault unit, its numbers are the same as everybody else's. Like, no,
yeah. I mean,
it takes away all
there are
the
plenty of
fun, in my
generic war
opinion.
games. There are plenty of generic war games that are great, like historical war games where spearmen are spearmen and bows are bows and all of that. Like I'm okay with that. But you would think 40k would throw up something a bit more exotic, right? Like, you know, yeah. I love their board games. I recently got this. I haven't opened it yet. Space Marine
You still haven't
Adventures.
opened that?
No, no, not this one.
You've had that
I'm
almost a
saving.
week.
Yeah, I know.
This
I
kid's a
know.
maniac.
Because if I open it, I'm gonna have to start sleeving the cards, and that's gonna take like a whole afternoon.
Oh, that's actually a
So
really good reason to
yeah,
not open it.
yeah. Because anything that I know I don't sleeve everything, but anything that I know I'm gonna play more than once, like I usually
Hmm.
sleeve it. You know.
I'm worse. If it's got cards, they're getting sleeved. It's just that simple. I
Yeah.
learned that with Shadows of Brimstone, and then I learned I am never going to need. I'm never going to stop needing sleeves, so I should just get a
Oh my
subscription
god.
service to some sort of card sleeve company because I'm
Yeah,
always
yeah.
going to need them,
I
and
didn't
that's
even
kind of
know
depressing.
GW have their own sleeve size because of course they do. So for some of
What
it,
a
they've got
bunch
like
of rat bastards!
really big cut. I mean, they're not selling these. These guys are in league with big sleeve, obviously, but um, you know, they've got their
Hmm.
own gigantor. Like, can hide my face behind. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, it's looking good for you, you know. But yeah, of course they've got their own sleeves, but this game is kind of like a little bit of a taste. Like, obviously, it's not anywhere near as good or as cool as Space Hulk, but it's got a little bit of the vibe of like dungeon crawling and
Hmm.
coming across
But
aliens and all
with
that.
40K vibe though, right?
Yeah, 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 and
That's
you know,
kind of
just
fun.
kind of coming across Necrons
Yeah,
and Challenges.
isn't it like inside like a Necron ship or something?
Uh, it's yeah, it's inside like one of their kind of like underground labyrinths, but like
Oh, okay.
the only problem with it is that there are some decks like I have looked at it online and there are some decks that I can't actually read yet because it's like very narrative. Like I think it's the kind of thing that I'll probably only be able to play a few times because it's got like 3 levels of campaign difficulty with like different missions, which is great. But like once you've done it, there are no surprises, you know. Like, so there's a lot of missions, but once you've played them out, like you're not going to be caught unawares by any of it. Same as Hero Quest. Like there are missions in Hero Quest that definitely, you know, I really appreciate that a couple of the people out there who do videos about it, like Always Bored, Never Boring, and I think Ash Quest as well. They both do videos that they let you know if there are spoilers for the missions, so that if you haven't played it yet, they'll link you to a spoiler free. You know,
Ash Quest, I got to hand it to that guy. His playthroughs are some of the best.
Oh, I don't mean Gorilla Miniatures Ash. I mean Ash Quest. Ash Quest is a guy who does pretty much only Hero Quest videos, or like.
Oh, really, really, really?
Yeah, he's a separate channel. Although Gorilla Miniatures, I think, is obviously great. Like he's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Ash Quest thing is like pretty much mostly just Hero Quest, and like he'll bring in stuff from other board games and play it in Hero Quest and stuff, and do. He did a thing where he's like, can I make a 40k game? Can I make a 40k dungeon crawler with Final Faction miniatures? Which was kind of with Final Faction action figures. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He's quite he has this thing called Will It Hero Quest where he takes other board games and he just like pulls out the components and he's like, can I use these to make Hero Quest better? Like, can I use these as different characters? Can I homebrew different monsters from like say this Star Wars game if I want into that? Like he's quite
really?
He's pushed the game to its like complete boundary kind of thing. Like it's crazy. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. But he likes other dungeon crawlers. He's like very strictly like, I'm not a role player. I don't have time to play role playing games because I have a job. But like dungeon crawler board games are like my thing, and he goes through a lot of them.
Yeah. Sorry, Cal. I thought it was somebody else. Ash is so famous, over the years.
Well,
I've been watching him for forever.
Gorilla Miniatures Ash. He did something really cool with that board game I just showed you. He painted all the bad guys in the board game are cardboard. You just get 5 Space Marines, right? Mm-hmm. He painted a whole host of Necrons for that board game, and it looked awesome. And he played through the scenarios and stuff. So his stuff is That's awesome cool. Too. You know, like.
So is it Ash Quest, the site, or what's the name of his YouTube?
Yeah, Ash Quest is the channel. Yeah.
Okay. Have they like reprinted Hero Quest, or is it sort of you got to go buy on eBay and find an old one?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
not only did they reprint it, and made it like a whole new thing, but they expanded the number of expansions. There's a crap ton for Hero Quest, and you could literally get the one main box set, that he's showing you, and I mean that would last you forever.
Yeah, I wonder if if you're just gonna play it with your kids, you could probably just do this and then make up a whole. But there's a bunch of scenarios online. There's like 30 years of like homebrewed material trying to turn this ridiculous game into a serious RPG. I mean, obviously, it's never going to happen, but it's fun.
We should play it online one Saturday.
Well, I think it
stream.
Is. I think it is probably pretty easy to do that because it just uses like attack and defense dice and like different cards.
Yeah. I was just going to ask: is there? I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't either a VTT or a a multiplayer version of Hero Quest playable
Well, there
online.
is an app. There is an app, right, that you can use to play the game solo or cooperatively that like works as a GM.
Hmm.
So that might be something you could kind of use, or I'm sure there's a virtual tabletop. Like,
So I mean,
yeah, I
you
mean,
know, like Owen, he plays Among Us with a bunch of his other friends. I guarantee there's a way we could play Hero Quest, and who knows, maybe even Space Hulk or
yeah. Well,
Space Crusade.
if anyone's got a
I,
copy, yeah, absolutely, I would play that.
I
Because to me,
Space Hulk
I
is
think
one of
the
the few
GW,
games left on my GW wish list that I never had. Everything else I've had that I wanted, but that was the one game I could never find a copy of. And every time I look, the cheapest I find one is like $350, and I'm like, for $350, I could go out and buy like a new video game console, or excuse me, a used one because of PlayStation 6, whatever, and I can literally buy whatever version of PlayStation Space Hulk I wanted for less
yeah,
money.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I could be perfectly fine with playing Space Hulk in my comfy freaking recliner downstairs, big screen TV, headphones, um, like I used to back in the day. I think I still
I
have
think
a.
generally,
I know for a
all
fact
of
I've
the
got a
games,
PlayStation 2, and I can find an old copy of Space Hulk, yeah, for like nothing.
most of their most of their old computer games are available on Steam, and I did play a lot through their Epic 40K game, and it was quite fun. But I try not to play computer games now because I feel like I don't have
Yeah,
anything to show
I
for it. You know, like whereas with minis, at least I've got something at the end that for all that
yeah,
time.
you've painted it, or
Yeah,
you've got it ready for game, or something. Yeah,
yeah.
even Jackie. I mean, he plays chess, but he's playing
Mm-hmm.
against other people, I think, and occasionally he'll play video games with his friends. But
Mm-hmm.
neither of us have really
I just
kept
saw how
up
much
with that whole hobby, I
if you if
guess.
you if you use Steam, like I was a Steam user and like I could see how many hours I had logged playing just like different World War II games and stuff like that, and I was
Hmm.
like, like I don't want to say it, I don't feel great admitting it, but I feel kind of disgusted with myself. Like I'm like, how did I spend this much time doing this idle activity and like not producing anything or creating anything? Like I feel bad.
Yeah, when it starts like coming close to the number of hours I've slept. Yeah, there's
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I felt so guilty, and I was like, I've got all these miniatures. So like, as soon as I saw that, I like literally uninstalled everything, and I was like, because I have like a little gaming PC here, and I've got no games on it anymore because I feel I feel like I'm not like any hobby where I'm like making things, I'm kind of okay with. But like any hobby that's just like here, just sink your time into these like ones and zeros, I'm like not so okay with. And yeah, I like board games for the reason that they're like a little bit more social and a bit easier to introduce to your friends who are not necessarily, au fait with, AD&D and stuff like that.
Shadows. Yes, yeah. I had the same reaction. I've seen. You look at the time on that thing on Steam, and I was
Mm-hmm.
tempted to get a game today, but I held back. I've been pretty good lately with.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I just
Yeah,
it was like 300 hours or something in Easy Red, and I'm like,
Yeah.
imagine how good I'd be at painting if I had, like, no,
Yeah.
no.
The skills. It's like, yeah, I'm good at this video game,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I really liked really challenging ones. Like Easy Red was quite lethal. I had a World War One game that was like incredibly lethal. It was very hard. Any time where I stayed alive for more than 15 minutes felt like a big breakthrough.
Yeah.
So,
I like
but it
the
just
like the city builder games and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, the well, like World of Warcraft. That was, I guess, one of my biggest sinks. I guess.
I told myself that when I've painted like most of my backlog, I might go back to like great old games and get classic games like Caesar 3 and SimCity 2000
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But until then, until I've really like made a big dent in it, I just don't even feel like it really.
Yeah.
I just trying very hard to line up other opponents and get into like learn my rules a little bit better and be able to just take people through games and make it easy for them.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
with wargaming, you got to paint everything and
Hmm.
just hope people will come. But fortunately, my opponent's really into Dark Ages stuff, so he's painting away while I'm painting away, which is good.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm not really into the war games. I guess, well, I probably would be if I did some, but
Yeah.
it's just would be just another thing I like. I like the minis for, like, the tabletop games for the D&D and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
but it's so, like, there's so many hobbies, like, you could probably assume that you'd be into just because you're into the one or two of them. Like,
Well, I think
so
also a lot of what I do is like because I think it might be exciting to paint up like 100 figures for this era or this setting or whatever, or kit bash
yeah,
my own fantasy kingdom or something. And then I actually set about doing it, and I'm like capable of much more modest output of like 20 or 30 figures,
yeah,
and so I'm like, all right, well, some things I'll never get to in miniature, and I kind of sublimate that urge through a board game because like it's a lot less preparation time and
yeah,
work and
and
stuff like that. Like
oh
I've
yeah,
got a fair bit of historical gaming stuff here, like GMT games, waiting for the day,
oh well,
or hex encounter stuff. You know, like
oh, that's cool. I wouldn't even know
yeah.
where to go to, like, play. Well, there's did find a hobby shop nearby, and they had some terrain set up, but I have no clue where anybody even does these things, like, to their games, or I guess they do them at home. It would be cool though.
I mean,
Oh,
I get to play some of this stuff with my brother because he was into it back when I was, and so he's always up for like revisiting nostalgia and that kind of
yeah,
thing. But like other than him, I've met like one other person on Discord who lives near me and isn't a bum.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like
There are
yeah,
some interesting people in all the
yeah,
hobbies we're interested in.
yeah. He seems like relatively well adjusted. Like he's not like you go to some people's house and you're like, oh, this guy seems all right, and then he's like, so my wife thinks you're very attractive, and you're like, all right, I'm going. I'm already out the door. I am already on the train, my friend.
Sorry about that, guys. The boy had some information he had to impart, and
Yeah.
have you guys seen Cal's Big Hat Dwarves
No.
that he's
But
been
I'm
painting?
I'm pro. I am pro big hat dwarf. I'm pro evil dwarf. I love Chaos Dwarves. I love the Glorantha kind of metalworking bastard dwarves.
I have a Glorantha book I've had for decades. I've never even uh, like opened it up. I don't know why I got.
Yeah, I
Oh, I
have
got it
the
because it said. Hold on. It's like right here. It says Hero Quest role playing in Glorantha. What
yeah.
the hell does that even mean?
Well, there was meant to be some vague crossover. There's like a vague sort of thing that like Hero Quest is set in that world, but it doesn't really check out. It's kind of
But it's like
subject
a
to
Steve. It's a Steve Jackson game,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
They
not
were
that.
just
That can't
sharing.
be right.
They were sharing like artwork and stuff, I think, and then I think Chaosium puts it out now. I could be wrong. I've got the Cthulhu RPG stuff.
But
I've
how does
never
this connect to freaking Hero Quest, the board game?
Well, I think that Hero Quest was allegedly set in Glorantha, but the reality was they were both owned by the same company and they were just sharing artwork between them, I think. You know?
Okay, Squirrel. Maybe were you guys talking about that while I was gone? Here's something that seems creepy, yet it can be dirt cheap to rent space at funeral home. You can get like 8 hours, pretty much the whole day for like $200 tops. To do what?
A con. Death
Oh,
Con.
I
Death Con
figured I
1
was just fucking with him.
was just born.
Yeah, no. You know what would be? You know what would be cheaper? Renting space at the swap meet, your local swap meet,
I'm
and
okay
then you
with
got the
eating.
entire.
I'm okay with the funeral home. Just make sure you order the vegetarian meal at the buffet. That's all. You know, like
Yeah, I, I, I mean, it depends. I mean, like if you've only got four players and that's $50 a player, yeah, no, yeah. If you got a lot of people, cool. But if you've only got four or five, yeah, can we just
what
go
was
to a
that?
movie and grab a bite to eat? I mean,
What was that profound quote from that American football coach? They asked him to like sum up the game, and he was like, "It's 13 people versus 13 people. That's 26 people."
All right, I have to log out. I'm trying to figure something out for my.
yeah, me too. I got a thing in the morning, gentlemen, ladies out there in the TV land. Everybody, have yourself a great weekend. Love you guys. I will see you Monday morning. Wish me luck that I get my Hero Quest or Dungeon Dwellers in the mail tomorrow from FedEx, and then I will unbox it and have something new to paint and talk about and review and all that good stuff. Otherwise, it'll be Monday. But even if not, I've got where is it? What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. Bunch of new ideas for show ideas, stuff I'll be talking to you guys about in the coming weeks. Don't forget the Squirt Gun Craft Challenge is due on the 7th of July. So get your squirt guns ready. Make them look like a ray gun or some shit. And we'll be reviewing Gilgamesh on the 30th of July in the Appendix N Book Club. I will see you tomorrow, Cal. Omen, hopefully I'll see you. I was surprised you weren't here. Um, James?
Oh, for heaven's sake, say goodbye.
All right.